Not the prettiest attempt, but it'll do.
Not the prettiest attempt, but Simon Young clears his first attempt at 4 metres, so another one to progress.
I think our YouTube viewers are back with us as well, so
welcome back.
Apologies if you've missed a bit of the coverage, team. We're back with you, so hopefully you haven't missed too much. We have got everything on this broadcast recorded, so we'll have a look tonight if there's anything that you've missed in the last few minutes.
As Matthew Ocamp approaches the bar and goes well clear at 4 metres as well. So you're just rejoining us. We're in the men's decathlon. Bars set at 4 metres, and we're just starting to see some action.
Viewers just starting to come back in now. For those just rejoining us, we had a power issue here in the broadcast, so we just unfortunately had the stream interrupted, but you should be back with us now. Shouldn't be any more issues. And the full broadcast is being recorded, so we'll check it after we've finished this, but if there's been any track races missed, we've got all those recorded. And you're still seeing the pointy end of the men's pole vault here as part of the decathlon.
And Sebastian Reneke goes clear on his second attempt at 4 metres.
Okay, so we're getting ready for some more track action as I've had to pull Andrew Matthews back into the box. And we will flick around to the 100-metre start. That's all right. And so we won't. This is, of course, the first of the track 100-metre finals tonight. So the women's 100 metres in the under 18. And just very quickly, there is your start list from the inside out north. Ahua, Karawi, Lawrence, Swift, Russell, Watson and McAndrew. So that's the start list here. The women's 100 metres under 18 final. Lawrence was out of the blocks really well for Australia in lane number 4. She's going well on the outside of Karawi from Papua New Guinea, and over on the outside as well, Mattia Russell of Australia, and Russell's going to take the win in 12:46. Just got over the top of her compatriot Lawrence, and then I think a close finish between Karawi and Swift of PNG and the regional Australian team for the bronze medal. 12:46. The official time. Unofficial, I should say. There's maybe some rounding in that.
I can just advise as we cross back to the pole that it's been elevated to 4 metres 10, with Mason Tivers being the first to attempt that, the young under 18 Australian competitor, and he has unfortunately missed at that height. And it looks like it's Sebastian Reneke who is to be next to jump. He cleared 4 metres at his second attempt. This is his first attempt at 4:10. And nicely over. To the applause of the crowd. Good, strong contingent supporting the decathletes here as they make their way through the competition. It's been a big day for them, and still a bit of work left to do before they're able to go home. So, Jung, first attempt. Simon Jung, who got over 4 metres, only needed the one attempt to clear 4 metres, has missed his first at 4:10. See Bryce Stevenson re-entering the competition. He passed at 4 metres. His last jump was at 390. And he is resuming in this decathlon with the bar set at 4:10.
Shout out to Anas Abu Ghanaba, who's just signed in to watch, no doubt, these 100-metre finals. He wouldn't be out of place in this senior open men's final a bit later on.
We met up in the last championships in Vanuatu, I think it was. Or was it in Suva 2 years ago? I think it was the Melanesian Championship.
So we'll swing back around, and here's the start list for the men's under-18 100-metre final. Run us through that, Bob.
Yes, so Nicholas Casero from New Caledonia in lane 1, Ethan Wallace, New Zealand in 2, Godfrey Okorenyang from Australia in 3, Dimitri Mauri from French Polynesia in 4, Melvin Monle from Australia in 5, Dominic Overend, New Zealand in 6, Connor Bowden from regional Australia in 7, and Tuilefa Piukana from Tonga in lane 8.
That's your field for the men's under-18 100-metre championship final. Melvin Monla, the fastest qualifier for this, if I recall correctly, was actually a late addition to the field. Put all the way out in lane 8 in his heat, but takes his place in the centre of the track as one of the fastest seeds. So the ones to look for: Okorenyang, Maori and Monla in the centre of the track. Okorenyang got out well in barrier in lane 3, and he's shot to the early lead. The Kiwi inside him, Wallace, is boxing on well. Kiwi also going well on the outside is Overand, but I think it was Okorenyang on the inside who got the better of them. 10.83 over the top of Overand, and then I fancy potentially the Kiwi Wallace as well in third, but we'll wait for photo. 10.83 unofficial. We'll wait for the rounding on that. Back to the pole vault. And here, actually, just while we wait for that, here's the results of the women's under-18 championship. 12:41, the official winning time for Russell. And the win was a legal, a headwind, minus 1.1. So the winds have turned around from earlier today when they were enjoying 1.8, 1.9 tails.
And in the pole, we're about to see Mason Tyver with his second effort at 4:10. And goes clear. Good jumping. Whilst we've been focused on the sprints, both Bryce Stevenson and Matthew Ocamp have missed their first attempts at 4:10. And looks like we will see one of those resuming shortly. And in fact, it's Simon Jung who clears on his second attempt at 4:10. Bryce Stevenson now takes his place on the runway. His second attempt at the same height.
While Bryce gets ready, just a quick shot of the evening falling here on a track at Townsville. Wind starting to swirl around. Over.
And a lovely clean jump from Stevenson. Looked to have his rhythm right there.
Here's the start list for the under-20 final in the women's 100 metres.
Yes, in lane 1, Regional Australia, Mickey Lee Snow. Lane 2, from Tonga, Hola Tauvaka. Lane 3, Australia, Ellie Buckholtz. Lane 4, Australia, Monique Quirk. Lane 5, New Zealand, Leah Belfield. Lane 6, Australia, Christy Edwards. Lane 7, Fiji, Braylon Yee. And lane 8, I missed it. Siutiti Make from Tonga.
Just had a quick look there at Kiwi's unsuccessful attempt at the pole vault.
Matthew Ocamp, that was. The Tongan athlete in lane 8 was a competitor in the long jump today, another one of our athletes doubling up.
So there's the line for the women's under 20 100 metre final. The ones to look for: Buckholtz, Quirk, Belfield and Edwards. Line up across the centre of the track. Belfield's the Kiwi, got away pretty well. Christy Edwards going well on her outside as well. Belfield and Edwards, the two most prominent at the moment. Quirk's going really well on the inside. Anything in this, I reckon Christy Edwards all the way on the outside. 10.86, I feel like that will be rounded up quite significantly, unless they've broken the Australian record by about 2.5 tenths of a second.
Yes.
But we will wait for some official results to come through on that.
As we cross to Matthew Ocamp, third attempt at 4:10, and he's clear.
Yeah.
The Kiwi will continue on in this pole vault competition.
Even that time for the women, it would have been appreciated even by Flojo.
Now. Some results for men's under 18 final, and confirmation that over end. The Kiwi picks up the sprint gold, the land of the long white cloud in 10.85 into a minus 0.4 headwind. Yang of Australia and his stablemate Monla, 10.87 and 11.16 fill the podium positions. And another Kiwi, Ethan Wallace, in fourth. And as I mentioned, negative 0.4 headwind. I said it earlier in commentary this afternoon when those semis were on, and there were some nice 1.5, 1.9 tailwinds that you might have wanted to have taken the opportunity to run fast then, because for exactly this reason the wind's swung around now. So I just wonder whether the likes of Jack Hale, who had a bit of a giggle coming across the line in the semi, might be reflecting on whether he wanted to try and get a time on the board then. So we had a have a look back at the decathlon.
Yes, I can report in the decathlon the bar's been raised to 420, and we've got what appears to be our last of our remaining under-18 athletes, Mason Tyver, having his first attempt at 4 metres 20 on the runway now.
Oh, it stayed on.
He's happy.
He didn't even need to go and vols it.
a little applause for the bar.
As it still wobbles and the officials point to the sky. He's been given the red flag.
Oh.
Well, what have I missed there?
I don't know, but I missed it too.
I thought it was a reasonably simple sort of sport. You got over or you didn't? I see. And again, one of the quirks of having one of Australia's most experienced comp managers in you is because if it falls onto the other side of the upright and off the actual support, then it's a red flag. So
sadly for Mason, we'll see him back shortly.
Gee, that's a harsh rule. The thing stays up, it's up, isn't it?
I'm with you. I like it. Here goes Sebastian Reinecke. I'm sure we're mispronouncing his name. But Sebastian, will get another go at it
That was definitely a red.
as
But
he takes the bar out on the way up.
They look a bit better. So I think it was only 1.1 seconds out the time as they come across the line. Something must have triggered a photo. Christy Edwards, 11.94, the Oceania champion, and the under-20s, Monique Quirk, give us an Aussie 1-2, and I think I got that right over the line with Belfield, win 12.15 for the bronze medal. But those are the official results for the ladies under-20 100-metre final as we head towards the business end of the sprinting for the night. Andrew just made a good point to me in the box here that we thought we wouldn't be held up too much in the program tonight on account of everything proceeding as scheduled, but this pole vault is still happening in the decathlon, which means we have a shot put, I think, to go after that. A javelin throw. And then a 1500. So
by the time we get home at midnight, what time will it be in Las Vegas?
I tell you what.
As Simon Young misses his first attempt at 4:20.
But here we go. This is the. We'll come back to the men's decathlon because it sounds like we're going to have plenty of time to get back to it. This is the men's start list for the 100-metre final.
In lane 1, Tonga, Piulene Latu, Tonga. Lane 2, Regional Australia, Trent Lowe. Lane 3, Australia, Christopher Ewis. Lane 4, Australia, Cameron De Bruin. Lane 5, Tonga, Tevita Pone. Lane 6, Tonga, Fohe Folau. I've lost the screen. It'll come back.
Sorry.
Bryce Stevenson at 4:20.
100.
And he misses.
Sorry, I think we're just checking the age group here. I think we've had the under-20s. I think this is the seniors. And it certainly is, yeah. That's
of the seniors.
That's
oh no.
No, sorry. I've just gotten a bit ahead of myself. I've accelerated too quickly through my start list is what's happened, so apologies, Bob. That's
yes, well, I got as far as Folau, and there were a lane 7 and lane 8 I didn't get.
It's Wilson and Paya of New Zealand and Samoa in the hands of the starter now. Eos got really well away in lane 3 for Australia. He's going to lead through the early part of the race. They all straighten up now, but no one's going to head Eos at the moment. De Bruin going well on his outside, but Eos takes it out for Australia. And there it is, 10.56 the time. So my mistake there, apologies with the start list, but Christopher Eos, 10.56, that's a pretty handy time, particularly if that headwind was still up and about there for the under-20s. I remember one of our juniors back in the day won an Australian junior title in 10.58, so to be winning these in 10.56, that's certainly a legitimate top-class performance.
And Ocamp, the first athlete clear at 4:20 in the pole. As Mason Tyver takes to the runway for his second attempt at 4 metres 20.
I've just worked it out. It was a straight final earlier for the ladies, so it's thrown out my scheduling here. So we'll have a look now. The pole vault. So as we mentioned, the Jav's still to come in this decathlon, and then a 1500. So much like Alicia was telling us earlier in the heptathlon, a long field event can really throw out the schedule. So we're going to be here for a little while yet.
Yes, at the moment the main focus is the under-20 decathletes
and we're just about ready to have the 100-metre senior men and the senior women.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can track down a start list, but I got off to a false start earlier, but I think this time around
I've not seen the start list yet for the men. The start list for the women was available a long time. Good.
So we've managed to track those down from comp management after the seeding. And
It's due to be coming up in about 2 minutes. So while here it is, lane 1 is Nainoa Thompson from American Samoa. Lane 2, Paul Manukene from Solomons. Lane 3, Alexander Hartman, Australia. Lane 4, Mbanuve Tambakadoro from Fiji. Lane 5, Jeremy Dodson, Samoa. Oh no, this was the semis. Semis.
We've been
yes,
been given an old one. So
I apologise. I'll give you the new one.
We fixed our graphic. There we go.
Good. Okay.
It's been a long day on the deck.
Lane 1, Australia, Alexander Hartman. Lane 2, New Zealand, Hamish Gill. Lane 3, Samoa, Jeremy Dodson. Lane 4, Australia, Jake Doran. Lane 5, Fiji, Banuve Tambakadoro. Lane 6, New Zealand, Edward Osei Nkecha. Lane 7, Australia, Jack Hale. And Lane 8, Samoa, Kelvin Masoe.
We got there eventually.
And we don't know where there is, but it's good to get there. Oh, yes, good clearance.
Lovely clearance from Sebastian Reinecke, his first effort at 4 metres 20.
So they'll get a big introduction here for the live crowd, which again has packed in the front straight here at the red track.
Why wouldn't they?
It's certainly the blue ribbon event of any championship, the men's and women's open 100-metre final. And this is a stacked field. Now they're probably a little bit out of seed order here, if you like, on account of some of the jogging that went on during the semi-finals. So look for some of the big threats to come from out wide. Jack Hale is very wide on the track. Hartman on the inside as well could seriously be a contender. Dodson was a surprise packet from Samoa of the semi-finals, and Osei Nikita of New Zealand looks to continue his sensational 2019 season. And we have a look here now at the men's 100-metre final.
Banuve.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Yeah. Banuve Tabakuro of Fiji, at least to the naked eye, looked to move before the gun.
He's under incredible pressure to defeat Jeremy Dodson.
And an ominously placed official has confirmed that Tabakuro of Fiji will be removed from this field for a false start. A little bit of a protest going on, but nothing too earnest, I don't think.
A disappointing end to his competition in the 100.
Well, he's got the 200, but we really don't know what form he's in. He's had too many rugby injuries over the last couple of years. He's now come back to the sport completely and has left rugby sevens, but you just don't know how well he's been able to prepare following the last lot of injuries. This is still going to be absolutely a dynamite final with the top Australians and that incredibly powerful New Zealander. Well, now a New Zealander.
See if we can get them away at the second time of asking. I'd point out the ones to look out for, but it's pretty much the field. Hartman, Dodson, Duran, Osei Nikita and Hale. A lot of discussion about the quality of these championships. This is as good a 100-metre field as you would want to see assembled. Duran got out of the blocks really well in the centre of the track. Hartman going strong as well. Hale going hard on the outside. Has a better Osei Nikita at the moment, but Osei Nikita coming into his running in a battle with Doran. Doran, I fancy, just over Osei Nikita, and Hartman back in lane 1, 10:31. Unofficial will wait for the rounding, but I think
the record stands.
10:39 is the official time. So we think Duran, yes. Jake Duran, official words come through now on the photo. Jake Duran is the Oceania champion. Gets over the top of Edward Osanakita, who, it must be said, has continued his sensational 2019 season. And a dab, I think from Hamish Gill that was, to the Kiwi audience coming off the track. Haven't seen one of those for a while. But
they'll be popping corks on Magnetic Island as the local lad takes out the Oceania title.
You'd hope they'll all be here, wouldn't you?
They might well be.
I didn't hear any popping. Maybe they don't have their coolers with them.
Quality 100 metre final. We'll watch that one back a few times, but that was a really even race, particularly through the first 30 metres, that drive phase. Edward Osanakita slower out of the blocks, but as they got tall and he really started to lengthen out stride and get into his running, managed to throw out the challenge to Doran and Hartman over on the inside. As we mentioned, some of the threats were likely to come from wider on the track, given some of those slower runs in the semis. And I thought Jack Hale would be more prominent in the run. And confirmation on the photo here, so the reaction of Jake Duran was premature. Edward Osanakita, who collapsed to the track after the win.
I saw him jump over the fence then and go racing up behind us.
Has won the Oceania title. Edward Osanakita, it was close over the line. We're obviously a bit off centre. But the Kiwis have picked up the blue ribbon event. We'll see if we can get a shot of this.
He's happy.
We'll get a shot of this. And we'll see if we can get him up here as well. Edward Osanakita is the Oceania 100 metre champion.
He's got to get ready for a lot of interviews now.
10:34, the official winning time. And Jake Duran will be second in 10:39. So I don't have any confirmation on the wind yet, but 0-0, so neutral wind. And that's confirmed.
And Banuve Tambakadoro keeps the record.
All right, well, let's focus on
the women.
The women's. Also conscious we need to show you the men's under 20 results, but we'll get that to you after the women's.
In lane 1 is Leonie Bew from Papua New Guinea. Lane 2, Helena Young, Fiji. Lane 3, Na Anang from Australia. Lane 4, Zoe Hobbs from New Zealand. Lane 5, Toya Wisil from Papua New Guinea. Lane 6, Georgia Hulls, New Zealand. Lane 7, Kayla Montagna from Regional Australia. And Lane 8, Brooke Summerfield from New Zealand.
Let's see if we can get something as close as the men's.
If it's at least as exciting.
So head down into the blocks. Na Neng did the double at the Australian Championships, the 100 metres and the long jump. Toya Whistle, of course, the darling of Papua New Guinea at these championships. Zoe Hobbs, the talented New Zealander. They're probably the three to look for in the centre of the track. And Nang was very fast out of the blocks in lane 3. Toya Whistle going really well in the drive phase, but Zoe Hobbs, the Kiwi, probably got the better of them at the moment. It's a Nang and Hobbs as they come up to the line. And he wants race, I think, Zoe Hobbs. And the Kiwis, I fancy, have got the men's and women's 100 metre double at the Oceania Championships between Osanakita and Zoe Hobbs. 11:65 is showing on our screens as the unofficial time. But this could be the coup of the championship for the Kiwis.
If 11...
Zoe Hobbs confirmed as the winner. So the New Zealanders have taken out the blue ribbon double in the 100-metre men's and women's opens. And we will have to see if we can track down that's right. See if we can pop the headphones on, and so we've managed to find Edos and Nikita. Maybe jump up on that railing, Ed, if you can. Sorry, you're getting pulled around. Congratulations. What an athlete. Ed, congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
We'll see if we can swing our camera around.
Okay.
Mate, you're the Oceania 100-metre champion.
Oh, man, it feels so good. Thank you so much.
Talk us through the race itself. It was 0.05 of a second to Jake Durant, 10:34, the official winning time. It's been a massive 2019 for you. Obviously, the runs in Sydney earlier this year, and now to come up to Townsville and get this done. What are your emotions at the moment?
Oh, man, all the hard work I put in, everything that I put in, oh, man. It's like everybody's like knew that, everybody that had my back, they knew that I could do it, but I just like I kind of didn't trust myself. But like every race that I've done today, I trust myself even more, and this is the result that I get.
And what's next for you? So, and the other thing I want to get your reflection on before we talk about the rest of the year is Zoe Hobbs has just won the women's 100-metre final. You're a newly minted member of Team New Zealand, the land of the long white cloud, and you get the 100-metre double with Zoe. What does it mean for you representing New Zealand, and particularly with Zoe, to get the double here? Oh,
man, this is a really good feeling for New Zealand, like becoming the king and queen of the 100 meters, and being both Kiwis. Oh man, it feels like we did good for the country. Yeah,
you had a massive contingent of support out here. You collapsed the track after the race. The crowd got around you. What does it mean to have all of this support network? They've been here for the 2 days already. All
I could just say is that without the support, I wouldn't have gotten far.
Yeah, and well, go Zoe, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Ed Nosakita, the winner of the men's 100 metres here at the Oceania Championships, and we'll see if we can track down Zoe to congratulate her as well. Well done, mate.
All right, so thank you so much, sir. How did I do?
You were great, mate. You were great. Thank you so much.
Zoe.
Darren.
Continuing with the decathlon.
So this is Bryce Stevenson,
Yes.
his second attempt at 4 metres 30. Only one clear so far at this height. And not to be. They're starting to fall by the wayside.
Waiting for the results of the women's. Have you seen them yet? The women's 100?
No, we have not
It's
seen
not flashed
yet.
up on the screen yet.
So whilst you've been away, I can report that Mason Tyver has failed to clear 4 metres 20 in the pole vault, so he's out. Our under-18 competitor, I believe he was the final under-18 competitor. We can see out on the track at the moment Matthew Ocamp from New Zealand. He's preparing his third attempt at 4 metres 30.
Well,
and not to be. And up comes the red flag, so that'll be it for Matthew Ocamp. Has a quick word with the official. He's not sure if he went through, but
he broke the plane.
She's pretty convinced. Oh, it's been referred.
And here we go. So we've also got, and we're waiting the suspense for a flag.
Bit of drama here with Ocamp. Ocamp was third going into today's competition in the under-20 men's decathlon.
So I think he's given up the fight by the looks of that reaction.
He's probably not going to take it to the quarter.
And there it is. So while we wait for that, here are your results from the women's 100-metre final. Zoe Hobbs, confirmation of the New Zealand double, 11 hundredths of a second over Australia's Nara Nang, Georgia Hull. So the Kiwis get 2 on the podium in the women's 100. Toya Whistle will have to miss out on thousandths of a second
for the third place.
For the bronze medal.
Yes.
Young and Summerfield and Bayou.
Her only consolation is she keeps the record.
Now we also have another field event getting underway, which is the men's open long jump. So we'll start jumping between the two of those a little bit as well. We'll see, bring you as much of that as we can.
I'll stay with pole vault. You can cover the long jump.
And I'd love to see as well if we can track down Zoe Hobbs for a chat. So we'll see if we can dispatch someone to help with that. But just reflecting on that for a moment, gents, the Kiwi double, you saw what it meant to Ed up here having a chat.
He was beyond happy.
So if we just cast our eyes across to the pole vault, the bar's now gone up to 440, and Sebastian Reinecke has his first attempt and has not been able to clear the bar on this occasion. So it looks like Stevenson's still in this competition. He's obviously chosen to pass at his third attempt at 430. Going to roll the dice. I assume we'll see him back in the competition at 440.
So we've also got some results of the men's under 20 final, which we had to hold up showing you on account of the open finals, and we're also seeing some of the long jump over the back there. One of the Aussie boys getting out there. But here are the results of the men's under 20 metre final. So confirmation of Christopher Oose's win in 10.76 over his compatriot Cameron De Bruin, 10.79. Cody Wilson picking up the bronze medal for New Zealand in 10.96.
From a Pacific Island point of view, it's interesting that Samoa has 3 good finalists in the under-20 and the senior men's. They're going to have a fairly solid 4x100 metre relay come the home games.
And not far away as well from the leading contingents there. So the Samoan only 600ths of a second away from the bronze medal. And so 3 of them there, Peo, Pone and Falau, all within 1/10 of a second of the bronze medal.
And we don't know at this stage how there's a huge contingent of Samoan athletes training in China. A huge contingent. And they will come back just before the games. And we know that the Vanuatu athletes who trained in China before the mini games came back and shocked everyone with their excellent performances.
Reinecke in the pole. First attempt at 440. It's not to be.
So we're getting crossing over between the long jump as well. So I think we've also managed to track down Zoe Hobbs. We might see if, rather than getting her to jump the fence like Ed did, we might see if we can get her over on top of the platform. And if you can hear me okay there, gents, we'll swing this. Oh, sorry, she's just putting her shoes on. That's all right. We'll wait for Zoe. We're getting chased by the post-event to get them down to the medal presentation. So I'll buy Audrey a lemonade later and hope that she forgives me. But Zoe Hobbs, I'll get you to jump up over here if that's okay. And we might see if we can swing this camera around and welcome up to the stand Zoe Hobbs, the Oceania 100 metre champion. Congratulations.
Thank you, I'm so happy.
We were just talking to Ed about the dominance here of the Kiwi athletes between Ed and yourself, the double in the blue ribbon event at any championship.
Well, the double hasn't happened yet, but that's the goal, so we'll wait and see what happens there.
The Kiwi double, though, from the 100 metre perspective, so that taking out the men's and the women's, what does that mean to Team New Zealand? I've seen how many supporters you have over here.
It's amazing. Like, we've got such good support here, and it hasn't probably happened in a long, long time, so it's cool to see Eddie take it out as well.
And talk us through the race itself. It was really neck and neck there with Nara Nang in particular. It seemed to go well in the early phase and then particularly in the drive.
Yeah, I just knew I had to get a good start because that's what she had on me at the Aussie Champs. She's a very good starter, so I knew I had to be as aggressive as I could right from the start, and then I just had to hold it basically.
We're seeing you in the 200 here as well at these championships. Talk us through the plans for the future.
Yeah, relay and 200, so...
Do you have you thought much further ahead than that in terms of the rest of the season, getting overseas or looking towards World Championships?
World Unis in 2 weeks' time, and then hopefully World Champs at the end of the year, but we'll just wait and see about that one.
Well, congratulations. We better let you get down to your medal. So Zoe Hobbs from New Zealand, the second Kiwi tonight to pick up a gold medal in the blue ribbon 100 metre event with Ed Nesakita as we swing back around to the men's pole vault as part of the decathlon.
There's not a lot of action here. Sebastian Reinecke has just missed at what we think is his second attempt, but may have been his third. We'll just keep an eye on things there. Looks like it may have been his second. As you can see, some of the senior athletes starting to check their marks. Cedric Dubler checking his pole. Getting ready to enter the competition. Dubler, of course, has a PB in the pole vault of 5:20. The bar currently at 4:40. So might be a little while before we see him yet.
We've got till midnight and beyond. Don't worry.
Unfortunately, the late night dining options in Townsville midweek leave a bit to be desired, as we discovered last night after our late finish in the men's open pole vault.
I grabbed a slice of pizza over on the far side and then just accepted a lift home. And was glad to get home.
I think we're going to be tossing up between various fast food options. Last night it was Domino's. We might have to mix it up and go to the Macca's down the road tonight. Having said that, we might need a buggy to go through the drive-through. Anyway, where would you rather be?
Las Vegas.
Chris, if you're still with us from Nevada. And, okay, so...
Or Montana.
Perfect.
Bag of grain waves and a Peroni for me last night, so hopefully we can improve on that.
So we've got here some results from the Jav. I know we've been doing long jumps and pole vaults and track races and different things, but these are the results from the women's Javelin final. And Kelsey Lee Barber,
that Javelin girl,
formerly Kelsey Lee Roberts, the Australian, of course, 65-61. Mackenzie Little, also of Australia, 57.74, and Tori Peters, 51.79, taking out the bronze for New Zealand. Perhaps Kim Nicol down there giving us some tips. I saw Kim in a Kiwi shirt earlier on today.
Part of the coaching contingent. We're here with New Zealand.
I was
retired.
always absolutely enthralled when we had three great javelin throwers, Kath, Kel and Kim. Or should I say...
Kimmy. Kath and Kim.
No, well, I'm thinking of the television show.
Zoom in the long jump camera on that other pit again, because they're not using that other one. I think is this track race? If you can dash over, yeah. I'll jump up and do it.
We just saw Peniel Richard do a jump there. And it's going to be measured, it looks like. Can we see what the board is going to?
Yeah, so we're just going to get that camera tightened in a bit on the men's long jump, and we're getting ready. I think this is our first relay of the competition. The girls warming up on track. This will be the 4x4.
Mike. 6:67.
So I'm just going to shake hands with Mike Hurst, who I'm going to go out on a limb and say Beck Bennett might be out there in a relay team. She'll be running the first leg for the Australian team. Now, I'm not sure. So this is helpful. I don't think we've got names on. Oh, we do have. Excellent. Mike coaches Beck Bennett, and we've got. I do have here some names for the relay legs. Excellent. So a couple of Mike's athletes, Ian Halpin and Beck Bennett, in this event. And I might hand over to Matt Marn for the call of this one. And if you come over here, Matt, I think Andrew's got some start lists with the names on them.
So Australia in 3, Vanuatu in 4, the regional Australia team in 5, and Guam in lane 6. And in the mixed 4x4 senior relay team. Just apologies to the viewers. We're struggling a bit for start lists other than countries, so we'll do our best. Matt and Matt.
We're also running short on personnel, so we're changing cameras. So
it looks like lining up for Australia just quickly while they take the line is Rebecca Bennett, Ellie Beer, Tom Willems and Ian Halpin. For Vanuatu in lane 4, Valentine Hell, Lesbeth Kalapong, George Vignari and Kevin Paul. Regional Australia, Jay Stone, the veteran of Oceania Championships, Finn O'Keefe, Kayla Montagna, Imogen Dello. And for Guam, we have Maureen De La Paz, Paul De La Lanta, Janina Chris and Christian Ruder as they get off to a great start. And it looks like Vanuatu on the bend have taken it out very aggressively with Valentine Hell doing a lot of work through the first 200 metres. We'll see how he goes as Rebecca Bennett from Australia seemingly has gone sailing straight past what looks to be the Guam team.
Yeah, Skippy, as she's affectionately known by her squad. I'm watching her coach up here in the VIP area, Mike Hurst, who, as he does, film her on his phone, notwithstanding our broadcast ability here. But Beck's going to be well off the back here of regional Australian team. Obviously mixed race here. Jay Stone
in fact,
doing his thing.
Jay Stone doing his thing, of course.
Beck, of course, going to come through in 52 or so for the first leg. So a pretty solid leg there from Beck Bennett, if that clock was right. So off they go on the second leg.
Obviously one of the quirks of this race is the ability for teams to pick their order in terms of gender, and we're seeing that here. With Regional Australia team taking a lead courtesy of Jay Stone's efforts in the first lap.
This, of course, one of the events that will be making an Olympic debut in Tokyo 2020. We saw it at the World Relays in Japan earlier this year. Much hailed success.
And it looks like it's Kayla Montagna of Regional Australia who's going to take the baton in first place for the third leg. And she'll have Tom Willems, I think it is, breathing down her neck pretty fast as Tom's taken the baton.
So here we go. This is the excitement of mixed relay racing. This is, I suspect, going to be a change for the lead at pace.
So
As the Aussies chase down their regional compatriots. The lovely shot of the evening here at Townsville.
And Tom is certainly surging through as he comes up on Beck's shoulder. I'm sure she... watch, blink and you've missed it. Tom Willems has now hit the front and putting out to a lovely lead. He's going to change over to Ian Halpin, but as he streaks away, what a great leg he's run.
So down they're going to be about 2:36 or 7 as Ian Halpin, another one of Mike Hurst's athletes, takes off like a bullet at gate, as they tend to do in relay racing.
And Imogen Dello for the it is for the Regional Australia team, who is going to chase him down. But Ian is certainly showing a clean set of heels at the moment as he rounds the bend, and we'll soon see him coming into the straight.
So mixed relay, they're going to be well and truly under 3:30.
Pretty nice going for the Australian team. Of course, no championship record for this event.
There is now. 3:23.
3:23.
That's the gold standard for the time being.
So
until next time.
As we see, I think it's Imogen Dello for Regional Australia bringing home for the silver medal for her team. And as you can see, she's got a solid lead on what looks to be the team from Guam in third place. Christian Ruda from Guam it is, in fact.
400 metre running.
Imogen.
Lactic City.
Oh, the Lactic City. She did cross the line. So there you go, and there comes Guam. Christian Ruda, the fourth athlete there. But great running, the team from Australia. Rebecca Bennett, Ellie Beer, Tom Willems had a really solid third leg, and Ian Halpin, one of Mike's crew, brought the team home.
Absolutely.
In a good, respectable time of 3:23.
If you want the replay, you'll be able to see it on Mike's Fast Track 400 Facebook group in about 10 minutes, I reckon. So we'll flick back over to the men's long jump as Matt and I try to untangle ourselves. And of course, the pole vault's still going on, so I think they've finished this second phase of warm-up in the men's pole vault as part of the Decathlon competition. We're going to see some of our heavyweights entering proceedings as the Kiwis try to fire up the crowd on the back straight for this long jump.
Who is this athlete? My eyes aren't good enough.
One of the Kiwis there has just wandered off screen. And I think our board again is unfortunately facing the other direction. Might see if we get it swung around or not.
I have got a couple of them at the beginning, but then we went to the relay. So
give us an update of what you've got, mate.
I've only got two. Peniel Richard from PNG did 6.67, and Joey Doran from Regional Australia did a 6.44. And then we went to the relay.
And in the decathlon, we've certainly had the bit of changeover. The bar's now at 4.30 meters. You will recall it was at 4.40 with the under 20, but the seniors have now come out, and the senior competition in the pole vault is shortly to commence.
Again, my eyes aren't good enough to read the names. It could have been Matthew Wyatt from New Zealand, but
one of Australia's, in fact, one of the world's most senior technical officials, Brian the Dr. Rowe, keeping a close eye on proceedings over there in the long jump. Athlete just jumped 7:06.
I guess it's Matthew Wyatt. His seed performance is 7.28, so that's in keeping with. Eldon Totti. This could be Eldon Totti from Papua New Guinea coming up, although it doesn't look like a PNG uniform.
So we'll just wait for... That looks like New Zealand uniform to me.
In fact, it is. It's Wyatt.
That's Wyatt.
It's Wyatt's jump.
Yep.
And while we've got a moment there,
apologies.
we'll just wait for the white flag. There it is. So, but we have an update from the Heptathlon. Obviously, there were big delays earlier in the day on this on account of the high jump taking over 2 hours. But Alicia Burnett, again, I think that's third 3 and 3 for Alicia today. 13:02 in the shot put for 729 points, and
6:15.
She's got over the top of Tori West, Christina Ryan, and Kiara. So, and those are the standings after 3 events of the women's heptathlon. Alicia leads the way by almost 300 points. The 3 Aussies and the Kiwis. So those are the standings after 3 rounds of the ladies heptathlon. As we see behind that, another of the attempts at the long jump. So we'll get some more of the men's pole vault as well as part of this decathlon.
That's Florian Geoffrey from New Caledonia, who is the oldest competitor in the field. A ripe old age of 31 or 32 years of age. He's had a miss at 4 metres 30.
And so I've also managed to track down the current standings in the under 20s women's heptathlon, which we'll show you in just a moment. In fact, we'll try and squeeze those in now. Looks like we've got some time before some more of these attempts. So Battistella of Australia leads the competition, 2,198 points, 64 ahead of Jessica McKenzie. Chantel Chippendale in third, with the regional athlete Gleason Cherry in fourth. And we'll show the under 18s as well in just a moment, after Geoffrey, I think it is, has his
second attempt. At 4 metres 30. And clear. Very happy with that.
Big crowd goes up.
Florian has, of course, has a PB of over 5 metres. We're just trying to track it down, but no, quite an accomplished athlete.
Yes.
Probably, possibly his best days behind him. But
I would say so, yes. But he's certainly represented France on several occasions.
As promised, here are the results of the women's heptathlon in the under 18s after 3 rounds of competition as well. So, pardon me, sorry, after 3 rounds of competition, yeah, the shot put, we've still got the 200s to come a little bit later tonight. So Maddie Wilson leading that competition. You can see there the full results as we will flick back momentarily to this men's pole vault as the cone is removed down there.
The cone of silence. It's gone.
Looks like Kyle Cranston on the runway in the senior men's decathlon pole vault. Opening jump, 4:30.
Ooh.
Oh, at the height.
Yes.
But, just needed to watch himself on the way down. The New Zealander Jack Henry will be the next to jump. Conditions quite nice for pole vault. And
Yes.
he goes well clear. Nice opener for the competition for Henry at 4.40 meters. We're yet to get an update in the scoring for the decathlon, but we'd expect that young Ashley Maloney is quite possibly the leader overall. We'll see if we can get that to you.
Oh,
and as you've
That
seen
was
there,
gigantic.
he goes well clear. The bar's set at 4.40. One would suspect he had at least 40 or 50 centimetres up his sleeve on that
Yes.
jump. He's
Oh, you
shake-
got points for style. Even the Russian gave it a 9. Jeez. It's quite
Enthusiasm.
spectacular. But no, we were just passing through 6 hours on the air here. Need a bit of excitement, so
Oh, we've got another couple of hours yet. Something will happen.
it's just off mic discussing that with Mr. Matthews, and there wouldn't be too many more qualified people in the country to map out a timetable, and he thinks we've got another good couple of hours to come by
Well,
the time.
I would think that too.
Oh,
Nope.
and there we go. And there
Not
is
to be for Kyle Cranston.
It's a big commotion behind us. I'm not entirely sure.
I think it seems to be the Tongan team getting a bit excited about one of their athletes limbering up.
So I think we've got some action again back over the long jump. There was just a pause
Oh.
in the proceedings.
Now, who is this? See if you can read his name. My aging eyesight fails me.
It's a Kiwi.
Is that Matthew Wyatt?
It is Wyatt again, yes.
Well, that's his. I think that's his second attempt. Possibly his second attempt. Ah, it always goes away just before they're about to turn the.
Oh, we'll get you back.
I can
That's
tell
all
you.
Oh,
right.
yeah, 684.
There you go.
It's an improvement of 30 centimetres on what he did in the previous round.
All right. Kyle Cranston on the runway.
Kyle missed his first attempt at 4.40 and he missed his attempt at 4.30, so if our records are correct,
Oh, yes.
it's
there we
academic
go.
because he's over
A
at
big
4.40.
clap. Oh, and easy on the warm up there, son.
We nearly had a.
That looks like a
French
Dubler-esque
connection.
tracksuit, doesn't it? I think. No, it's not. I don't think. Just another. It might be Ash.
The collision was nearly the New Caledonian, I think.
Cedric's still in his pyjamas, I think. He's not long out of bed.
Someone did 678, whoever that was. Maybe Eldon Totti. Is that Max Atwell? Sorry, I'll have to plead ignorance and incompetence here. My eyes just aren't good enough to read the names as they come into the jumping pit. As I said, a cataract surgery is needed, and I've had a detached retina.
It's a 7:10 for that last competitor in the long jump.
But who was it?
It looks like it could be Henry Smith. In fact, or is it Joshua Cowley from Australia, I think it is. 783 jumper. What's he got? As Kyle Cranston goes clear at 450 in the pole.
And we've got an update from Chris, who's still with us from Nevada.
Talk about a marathon man.
Ash is at 5,943 and Cedric's at 5,875. So that is tightening up.
Oh, yes.
Another clearance.
Lovely jump there from Jack Henry. His first attempt at 4 metres 50. He's got a clean sheet so far. 2 jumps. As Ash Maloney.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
What a...
Again, a very interesting technique there.
Apologies, we had two of the Aussies tearing into runways at exactly the same time over at the long jump. We'll see if we can get a score as well on that jump.
I haven't seen when it's due to be done, but I can see people warming up for the senior men's high jump, and there are quite a few people who are in the long jump and as well as the high jump, so I'm not sure how they're going to organise that.
I think we're just waiting for a board on that last jump. I don't think we're going to get it either, so I think we'll get a long jump attempt here before we get a pole vault attempt. So they're both poised at the top of the runway.
So it could be Christopher Matrovsky here for Australia.
There might be some quick switching here, so apologies if that's the case. There we go.
Coming you with your young eyes, tell me, who was it?
And there's a white flag at the long jump. and
New Caledonian, Florian,
so we'll go back
as a run through.
Long jump and hopefully get a board.
Without necessarily knowing who it's for.
I think it may have been Matrovsky.
If it's him, the next one is meant to be Kevin Paul from Vanuatu.
Yes,
Oh, that looks right,
looks
based
right.
on the singlet
So
that I
we
can
would
see in the
suggest that's
background.
Matrovsky. And he's jumped a 762 by the looks of it.
762. Well, that's certainly not the Vanuatu athlete. It could be some of them have already gone over to the high jump.
That's a New Zealander.
Yes.
I think we've also had a change in the order after the midpoint of the competition. So a white flag at the long jump and a false start in the pole vault.
Florian Jaffray from New Caledonia, the veteran. He is on his final attempt. 2 misses. Has he got one more height in him?
And there we go, 7.5 even at the long jump.
We had some discussion briefly about the high jump commencing. Just confirm that the bar is currently at 2:05 in the high jump. Quite a few competitors that haven't joined the competition at this point in time. And we might just cross back to the pole vault where Florian Jaffray from New Caledonia, he's had 2 misses. He's at the bar's at 4 metres 50. What's he got? No, not to be. The red flag will be raised and that will be it for his pole vault competition.
Looks like Malakai Kaiwalu from Fiji has just gone over the high jump.
At 2:05, that high jump is currently.
Yes, he's done 2:09. I think that's the Iqbal Fiji national record. It looks like Peniel Richard from PNG, with his distinctive hairstyle.
Contributions coming in far and wide from around the globe. Contribution from renowned athletics writer Len Johnson, who has Ash 68 points in front, with an obvious disclaimer that he's a distance running guru, not a multi-sport magician. So between Chris and Len, at least they've got
664
some consistency in the
Peniel.
result. Ash in front. This guy shouldn't have a 4th attempt.
Who is it?
Florian, there he goes.
So it was a red.
Well, some controversy in the pole vault. We'd called Florian Jaffray at his miss at his 3rd attempt, and certainly there's obviously some sort of change because he was seen jumping, and as you saw from the backflips on the mat, he's over. 4 metres 60.
So the other thing we're getting ready for, which we'll just get up on the screen quickly, is this 200 metres in the under 18 women's heptathlon.
In lane 2 is Maila Marin from New Caledonia. Lane 3, Lositika Feke from Tonga. Lane 4, Maddie Wilson from New Zealand. Lane 5, Shannon Fraser, Australia. Lane 6, Sela Pasikala from Tonga. And lane 7, Tamsin Murdoch, Australia.
Here's one of, and a red off the board at the long jump. They're going into their blocks for the 200 as part of the under-18 Heptathlon. This is another event that was held up a bit on account of the very long high jump this afternoon. You can see the flag still fluttering there in the background.
They're one step closer to their evening meal.
Kyle Cranston's just had a miss at 4.60 in the pole vault. His first miss and his first attempt, in fact, at that height.
So we're just going to have to cut very quickly away from this long jump. We'll watch the jump. And now here's the 200 red flag there. So off they go in the ladies Heptathlon. And it looks like Shannon Fraser of Australia going very, very well. And also the Kiwi, Maddie Wilson, getting up on the inside. Also going well from Tonga is Faki in lane 3. So really 3 as they come into the straight for Key, Wilson and Fraser. The Aussie Murdoch going well on the outside as well. But it's going to be the Kiwi with the big support here. Maddie Wilson getting over the top of Shannon Fraser, and then Tamsin Murdoch of Australia also got up well for the bronze medal on the outside. And I think we'll just catch the clock maybe. 25.51. There it is. So we just snuck in.
And back to Jack Henry in the pole vault.
Oh.
Not to be at 4.60. His first miss of the competition.
And Chris is absolutely on the ball for us with some more updates from the pole vault. Good on you, Chris. Got to be 1 or 2 in the morning in Nevada.
Fantastic, Chris. It's just
true dedication.
And back to the long jump where one of the Aussies is on the board. And another red. So a few reds in a row, and back to the pole vault quickly. And over.
Oh, yes.
Over. Slightly more graceful effort there by Ashley Maloney. Over at 4.60. His first attempt at that height.
And we'll jam in the start list here for
the under-20 women 20s. In lane 3, Rebecca Gleeson-Cherry, Regional Australia. Lane 4, Jamison Batistella from Australia. Lane 5, Chantel Chippendale from Australia. And lane 6, Jessica McKenzie from Australia.
I'm happy to be corrected by correspondent Chris in the US, but if I'm correct, that's an equal PB for Ash Maloney at 4.60. Chris, you might like to confirm that, but it's certainly good for,
Come on,
for his
Nevada.
point score.
Let us know, Nevada.
And
ooh, yeah.
Cranston
Wood.
clear.
He's happy. I wouldn't have backed him in halfway up.
Happy,
it all looked a bit slow.
Relieved is the word. Relieved. It looked slow motion.
It did, didn't it? It didn't really seem to have any real drive up through the power
floated up
phase,
and over and down.
They're just doing some work on the board at the long jump, so we'll stick with this pole vault for the moment.
So we're currently at 4.6 metres, 4.60 metres, so that's worth 790 points at the moment. So these athletes starting to get themselves a great opportunity to score some points.
And here's Malakai Kaiwalu from Fiji, I don't see the white flag. That was in the high jump, which is beyond the beyond.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just got some tents in the way there, blocking our shot. But and took it down with him.
Big miss for Jack Henry, his second at 4.60 metres. Some words of encouragement from the New Zealanders in the crowd.
They've finished the work over at the long jump board.
Spare a thought for these decathletes. They started today at 1:20 local time. It's currently 7:10. They're in the pole vault, and they've got the Jav and the 1500 to come.
To be track.
When would they be doing it in Doha?
Possibly midnight.
All right.
Here we have another 200. Over to you, Matt.
So they're pretty well away. Battistella for mine got the best of them, but also well on the way on the outside was Mackenzie. Very, very even between the three Australians. Gleason Cherry starting to fall off the back for the regional team. Jessica Mackenzie probably just lead them into the straight, but nothing in it between the three Aussies. Chippendale also going well in the centre of the track, and she moves herself into the lead now. Mackenzie just starting to fade a bit in the straight. Battistella coming at her for second, but it'll be Chippendale who gets the win. And Mackenzie and Battistella.
Oh, good timing.
As we pick up
As
another
Jack Henry
attempt at the pole vault.
Jack Henry's final attempt at 4.60 metres, and that will be him out.
And 26.11 for the girls in the under-20s as we flick back over to the long jump out of our 3-in-1 service here. And that looks like another one of the Kiwis on
Wyatt?
the runway. It is, I think, yep. Looked okay off the board. And out he goes, and a white flag up.
If we switch back to the pole vault now, we'll see that Cedric Dubler is entering the competition, and the bar's been raised to 4.70 metres. So Cedric entering the competition. Cedric's got a PB in the pole of 5.20 metres, and we're certainly at the business end in this competition. So by our reckoning, it's Kyle Cranston, Ash Maloney and Cedric Dubler that are left in the comp, the three Aussies. Dubler the best credentialed of the pole vaulters. Ash Maloney a PB of 4.60, which is currently over. Cranston has a PB of 4.80 metres, and Dubler of course has a PB of 5.20.
Just very
see him
quickly
prepare.
as they're in their blocks, that's the start list for
Chiara Redingius from Australia, Tori West Australia.
And Christina Ryan and Alicia Burnett are the other competitors. In fact, we've lost one of them. So going around the outside now, and I think it's actually Burnett that's not on this line. We'll get some confirmation of that, but I'm not seeing her out there in any event. Tori West of Australia is going really well in the centre of the track, and Chiara Reddings going well inside her as well. Christina Ryan of New Zealand will be third over the line, and I'm not seeing Alicia Burnett on that start list, so I can't think of any reason why she wouldn't be there other than that she's withdrawn from the competition. 25.22 was the winning time, but that's a breaking story in the women's heptathlon.
Big news. She was the competition favourite, the competition leader. She was.
And of course, we spoke to her just after the high jump as she was headed over to the shot. No apparent issues at that stage.
She had some strapping on her hamstring, but only a light strapping, but as we cross back to the pole vault, I can report that Cedric Jubler's had a miss at his first attempt.
Not permitted.
At 4 metres 70, and Kyle Cranston's about to jump. Just taking the bar on the way up with his thigh. He too will have to reattempt this height.
Just flicked a note to Alicia's coach, see if I can get some information on Alicia's status. Hopefully she's okay. We've managed to track down some results from the under 18 200 in the heptathlon, and there they are there. Maddie Wilson getting a win, 25-25, 837 points. Shannon Fraser second and Murdoch in third. And I'll just go back to this attempt over at the long jump, and we'll get you some standings in the women's heptathlon just after that. So here we go, we've got another two very quick back-to-back attempts here at different field events. That's the long jump, and then a run through at the pole vault.
Ash Maloney.
A white flag at the long jump.
And a red flag at the pole vault.
And here's the results, the current standings of the under 18 heptathlon. It's all happening. Maddie Wilson, Shannon Fraser and Tamsin Murdoch, the leaders of that competition, and about 300 points separates each of first and second and third. So that competition's starting to spread out a bit.
Yeah, Losi Tikafeke from Tonga would have really missed out on getting 0 for the 200 because she was disqualified. That put her behind the 8 ball.
Oh, and no luck for Geoffrey. Back to the long jump. And a run through, they'll measure it, but won't affect the standings.
Can we get rid of it? Yeah, don't ask Andrew if they're not needed. And they're just, we could cover the men's high jump's going to be great. And Jubler, oh, he's had a second miss. So, his strategy to enter the competition late is putting at risk some serious points for Cedric Jubler, with 2 misses at 470. And the pressure back on him.
We saw that with Angus Armstrong last night in the open pole vault. 2 misses at 430 before a first attempt clearance at 440 to win the competition. So it can turn around, but Cedric under a bit of pressure just at the moment.
He can currently consulting Coach Eric Brown and Paul Burgess giving a bit of a hand. Paul, of course, an esteemed pole vaulter from Western Australia, now with Wace, coaching a number of our Australia's young up-and-coming pole vaulters.
Yeah, we're very conscious of the men's high jump. We're just trying to get rid of these tents, which unfortunately are right in the way. Obviously, there's not a lot of rain to be kept out. So,
Matty, looks like it's Joel Baden about to take a jump at the moment at 4:15.
Sorry,
2:15, and it looks like he's cleared that height. Claps from the crowd. Joel, like Georgia Griffith and Cedric Dubler, was also represented Australia at the World Junior titles at Eugene in 2014, and will no doubt be hoping that they can go back to that track. It's a new track for the World Championships in a couple of years, as we see Kyle Cranston clear the bar at 470, the first man to do so in the decathlon. At his
So we're trying a few different
attempt.
things with the high jump. We're seeing we can move some cameras and move some tents and doing our best. Very, very conscious that Brandon Stark, the reigning Diamond League champion and Commonwealth champion, is competing. And it looks like the seeing a lot of action over at the men's long jump. Don't think that's far away from finishing up, so
Ash
we
Maloney
may be able to.
Oh yeah,
goes clear, and there's a big PB. 10 centimetre PB in the pole vault. He's having a fantastic competition.
Brandon Stark started the season modestly, but is just making every competition just a slight improvement. Be good to see him back to the 236.
So just while we're waiting for this, we'll pop up the results of the under-20 heptathlon at 200 metres. Chippendale, Mackenzie, and Battistella. We'll go back to Geoffrey.
And a miss at 4.70 for Geoffrey. In the high jump, which we're still struggling to get some vision, but maybe making some progress. The bar's now been raised to 2.18 metres.
And this is the current standings in the under-20 heptathlon, with the benefit of that 200 having been completed. So Battistella still leads the competition, notwithstanding Chippendale getting the win in the 200 and Mackenzie sitting in the bronze medal position. So those are the standings. And I think we're running into issues at all camera angles because we're trying to get the back straight camera repurposed for a high jump as well, but we've got a whole bunch of national flags lining the back straight. So
we have Matty, and we've got Cedric Dubler, a real clutch jump here. His third attempt at 4.70 metres. He hasn't cleared a height at this point. And goes well clear.
Yeah,
and look at him. Isn't he a happy athlete?
Just class. It's the champion stand up when under pressure. I think he's sharing a pole there with Geoffrey by the looks of it.
As we've said several times through the course of the commentary, there's a really great spirit of competition and spirit of friendship and cooperation that exists amongst the competitors here at the Oceania Championships. And we've seen plenty of that on display today.
Okay, so we've got a bit of action happening. Some tents are being moved. Now, this is the sort of thing we're dealing with. There's a lovely shot of the high jump, except you're going to have some of the national flags in focus. There's Brandon Stark.
He's just knocked the bar at 2.18 and...
yeah, and he almost collided with Norfolk Island, a Norfolk pine. or is it Lebanon? No, it's a Norfolk pine. It's not a cedar.
And I've actually just got a text back. We'll wait for Geoffrey.
Just takes it out with his shins on the way up, and that will be Geoffrey out.
So trying to see people on the runway as well. Brandon Stark is back over at the fence line.
readying himself for his, what we believe to be his second attempt at 2 metres 18.
Well, on the left there with the New Caledonian flag.
So I've just heard as well, gents, from Alicia Burnett's coach that there's no injury to report there, so that's pleasing to hear. We'll be seeing Alicia in the high jump later in these championships, and at the moment the plan is still to compete in that event. So
possibly the long drawn out afternoon of competition's taken its toll on her as Stark comes in.
Oh yes,
and goes clear at 2 metres 18.
That's another view.
As you can see, unlike the Diamond League, we don't boast 40 cameras. I think we're operating on about 3 here at the Oceania Championships. So
we are getting some tents out of the way, though, so we may be able to do this with one. One well-placed one. Yes. So if we can...
A big shout-out to Tom O'Shaughnessy, Matt Lynch and Peter Hamilton, one of Australia's
all very overqualified to be moving that tent, but we appreciate it. And Brian Rowe. I tell you what, that is the world's most well-qualified tent removalist team.
And in the pole vault, we're up to 4 metres 80, and Kyle Cranston for his first attempt.
Well,
just takes it out with his thigh on the way up.
I can see as well Casey Sims as well, who is the official photographer of the Oceania Championships. She's over there with Kobe, so I'm supremely confident that they'll be getting some good footage and photos of Brandon and the rest of the high jump. They'll be going up over the next couple of days. So as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast and throughout the day since 1 o'clock this afternoon, there's also plenty of non-live stream footage and images being collected, which will be shared in the fullness of time. So what you see here is not the limit of what you'll get.
And a clearance at 2 metres 22 for Stark.
That's going well. We've also been given another update on the decathlon from Chris, who I've got to say is the MVP as far as viewers are concerned. He's given us some great stuff over the course of the day.
We might just pause that
hold that
for Ashley Maloney at 4 metres 80. No, he's just taking it out with his feet on the way up.
Again, points for style, though. Yeah, I think it's meant to be the other way.
It's the style.
It's the inverted high jump technique or something. As a Kiwi over the back gets over the high jump, I just can't see who it is from here, but I can't imagine there'd be too many up at 220 something. If we can find a start list, it should be reasonably easy to work out who it is. I'm just going to rummage through some papers here. Men's long jump, it's been finished.
While the guys are doing that, it looks like Kyle Cranston will be the next to jump in the pole, and it looks like Joel Baden lining up for Australia in the high jump. We can see just in the background.
So we think that was Hamish Kerr from New Zealand in the high jump.
The bar set in the high at 2 metres 22 currently. Lovely conditions, slight crosswind. Right to left on your screen.
So
and
unsuccessful at the high jump. So just back to Chris's update in the decathlon. Ash looks like he's going to be short of the Doha World Championships qualifier. He'd be 93 points of that mark at the moment if he scored PBs in the Javelin and the 1500. So that looking to be a bridge too far at this stage.
Although, let's see how he goes.
Let's go, but we're not done here yet, so.
Correct. Cranston for his second attempt, and he'll be back for one more. We mentioned all hands on deck. We've seen, as we said, Brian Rowe and Peter Hamilton lifting pole vault bags and tents, and there's Jeff Gardner, current Idle Wave Council member, raising the bar in the pole, overseeing this competition.
I'm just looking at the high jump runway. We've got one of the Aussies lining up.
Looks like it might be Joel Baden again for what would be his second attempt at this height. Former Melbourne Grammar student, I believe. Early in his coaching days was coached by Sandro Bassetto, Tim Forsyth's old coach. Apologies to Sandro if he still is his coach. We'll check on that.
We got the high jump. And no luck. And I don't think we've shown the open results for the women's heptathlon 200 metres. Tori West picks up 860 points for her 25.29. Readingus gets 817 for her 25.77, and Ryan 782 for her 26.17. We'll wait for this attempt before we show you the current standings, which will now be sans Alicia Burnett, unfortunately, but we'll get to see Alicia a bit later in these championships in the high jump.
Ash Maloney, second attempt, 480.
Well, and the second time he's done that.
Feet first.
Feet first. Body rotated around the other way.
And yeah, big shout out to Sandro Bassetto. He is Joel's coach still. Joel's a Melbourne Uni student, and as I said, you know, Sandro also coached Tim Forsyth to a bronze medal and a national record in the same event.
Shout out to my mate Peter Higgins, who's just signed on from Sydney, chair of the ANSW board. And Chris has also given us some indicative points that are that are attached to the various pole vault heights. So I think we'll just check what the bar's at
4 metres
at
80.
the moment. So 480 will be worth 849 points. If they can get up to 490, 880. 5 metres is worth 910. 510 is worth 941. 520 is worth 972, and 530 is worth 1004. So those are the points we're playing for as part of the decathlon competition.
Joel Baden, third and final attempt at 222. He's had a change to his run-up mark. Can he get a better result with this one?
No.
Not to be. Joel Baden bows out of the competition. Meanwhile, back at the decathlon pole, Kyle Cranston, his third attempt at 4 metres 80. This is his PB height. So he's having a good competition. Better connection with the pole, but wasn't quite enough. Cranston's out.
Yes.
So we're down to 2 athletes. Ash Maloney, current competition leader. The bar's currently set 20 centimetres above his PB of 4.60 metres. He's had 2 attempts, which he's taken with his feet on the way up. Let's see how he goes with this 3rd attempt. Oh,
yes.
And he's clear with a big height and a big PB for the young Queenslander.
He's happy.
High fives in the crowd, Paul Burgess and Eric Brown. And a big kiss from his teammate.
And a great clearance
Cedric.
in the high jump.
So, much excitement.
It's all happening.
It's all happening, Bill, as Tony Gregg would say. So, if Chris is still watching, give us an update, mate, on Ash's prospects. Now that PBs are getting knocked off.
4.80 metres worth 849 points.
Yeah.
So he had a good day 1 too. He ran a sizzling 10.59 for his 100, just with a 1 metre tail, and he finished the day yesterday with a 46.75. Not a slow 400 metre time. Be a handy fill-in a 4x4. I suspect the 15's not his best friend. His PB for the 15's a 4.42. Anyway, the bar's been raised to now 4.90 metres, and his teammate Cedric Jubler, who missed twice at 4.70 before clearing, is having his first attempt. Just takes it out.
Nice handstand on the dismount.
Doesn't look too stressed. Minor adjustment required.
Ironically, the break in the stream that we had earlier for a few minutes on account of a technical issue would have had to have come anyway. Facebook these days has an 8-hour limit on live streams, and we're going to sail through it at this rate. So it should be okay now, given that we had that break. But
if we break the record, do we have to be drug tested?
I saw Andrew swallowing something earlier, but he assures me that it was a mint.
My electrolyte levels are lowering.
Oh dear. I can go home soon and have my meds.
Yes, Bob was complaining we were keeping him up past his bedtime at 7 o'clock last night. Bob, these guys have got another 2 events to come.
Oh yeah, well
Ready yourself. We're in for a great competition.
I'm bracing myself.
I remember you saying
Us
that
senior
it wasn't
citizens,
past our bedtime, but we may get there tonight. All right.
Ash Maloney. First time he's attempted 4.90 metres.
Oh, just a big gust of wind right as he jumped as well. Wouldn't have helped.
He's certainly got the potential. That last clearance he had at 4.80 metres was well clear of the bar, and he's shown if he can get it right. Oh, as the crowd goes up, the Kiwi in the background's just cleared 2.26 metres in the high jump.
Yeah, Hamish Kerr it is.
Hamish Kerr.
Yeah.
It looks like it's just Kerr and Stark left in this competition. Stark's brother, of course, starring last night in the Australian victory over England.
Over who?
Over England. Took a couple of vital early wickets.
Yes.
After which I fell asleep. But
I didn't watch it, but I did read about it in the paper this morning. Ooh.
Stark's just taken it with his calf. His first attempt at 2.26.
Yes, I said I read it in the papers, but I stopped buying physical papers a long time ago. It's I find it just so much easier to subscribe for the online edition. So much easier.
All right.
Cedric Jubler.
On the way up.
Cedric's second attempt at 4 metres 90. His 5th jump for this competition. At 470 he was able to take a clutch jump and clear it. As he got that left in him.
He doesn't look very happy
6.
at the minute. The wind is getting stronger.
So this would be Ash Maloney's 9th jump by my calculations. And it would be a 30 centimetre PB if he were to clear the bar. Having a great competition. Breeze just seems to have picked up a little bit in the last few minutes. It's dropped a degree or 2 in temperature. As Ash Maloney, no, not to be. Not sure what happened there. He shrugs his shoulders and looks to the coaching team as the red flag goes up. And that's a miss. Meanwhile,
So that looks like
Stark is out of the competition at 2:26.
So pleasing we could pick up some of that towards the end.
It's amazing what can happen when tents disappear and cameras are moved.
Cedric Jubler tries to fire up the crowd, the diehards, the multi-sport fans. It's his 3rd attempt at 4 metres 90. What's he got? And he goes clear.
Are they going to?
Will we see it awarded? We saw this earlier today.
Yes,
the white flag is raised. And Jubler is over at 490.
Jubilant.
Well, the pattern. He's relied on his 3rd jump at the 2 heights he's attempted tonight. Entered the competition at 4 metres 70.
He is going to keep us here for a lot longer.
And spare a thought for Cletus Mosi and a few of the other competitors in the decathlon that finished their pole vault about an hour and a half ago.
Do you know how high Cletus jumped? Did he?
No, I don't have that result to hand.
No. I hope he managed to clear.
Anyway,
He was heading for a respectable personal best in the decathlon if he managed to.
Speaking of which, Ash Maloney, his 3rd attempt. What's he got?
Oh,
he's over!
But what a style. He had a bemused look on his face. What am I doing here?
The brown camper ecstatic over the fence, and these 2 athletes congratulate each other. And there's great excitement here.
Yeah, well,
the red track.
Style is style, whether it's unorthodox or not. It was great clearance.
And we'll see the bar raised to 5 metres. So just to put that in context, Ash Maloney's PB coming into this meet was 4 metres 60. And if you'd have told him 8 events in, he'd be tackling a PB of that, I think he'd have definitely taken it.
Oh yes, good clearance in the high jump.
2 metres 30, he's clear.
Happy chappy. But wait, there's more.
Matty. What's his name in the high jump? That's Hamish Kerr in the high jump for New Zealand. Can you check that for us? So back to the pole vault. The bar's set at 5 metres. Cedric Jubler.
Oh, and here we go. We've just been told.
Can he get a first clearance at 5 metres?
Here we go. Ooh.
On the way up.
Just been told 2:32 is the national record for the Kiwis, and that jump equals the 19-year-old national record. So
that's fantastic. The bar's been raised to 2 metres 33.
So this will be a new national record for Hamish Kerr if he's able to get over. And it's also, and that's the other key thing. Thank you, Andrew. It's also the qualifier for the World Championships.
It's a great outcome for young Kerr.
So Casey Sims down there with a camera. She'll be getting some shots.
The Kiwis have had a good day.
Okay, well, absolutely they have.
I say it's great. It's really pleasing that they're getting a reward. You know, they've sent smaller teams to recent Oceania Championships. They've invested this time round. They've sent big teams, and they're getting the results.
Obviously, the preparation back home is spot on.
Ash Maloney, 5 metres, first attempt.
Oh.
No.
New Zealand in the first Oceania Championships in 1990, they sent a quality team, but they were under 23s who had not yet represented the country, but they cleaned up the medals. They really did well in the first one.
So that's also a Tokyo qualifier for the New Zealand jumper in the high jump, as well as Doha. So he's had a great night.
A double whammy. It's going to be interesting to see how many people qualify for these major championships on the basis of the performance list and how many make it as a result of the ranking list. That's something that I guess the IAAF will be very interested to find out.
Ash Maloney's just gone to the bag for a new pole as he's going into uncharted waters. We'll see how he goes with that. Cedric's actually due to jump next. Will take his time. Currently in discussions with the officials. We're not quite sure what's going on there, but narrow miss in the high jump at 2:33, which would be a national record.
An outright national record. He's obviously now
equalled it.
Equalled that. So the national record was held by Glenn Howard, set in March of 2000.
Cedric Jubler, 5 metres.
Again on the way up.
He's just following form. It's relaxed, fellas. He's the third jump specialist. It's been the way of this competition for Cedric.
It's been the way of pole vault at these championships, as we mentioned earlier. Angus last night surviving a scare at 5:30. So Hamish's best leading into these championships was 2:25, so he's already well and truly in PB territory. Set that in December last year when he went to second on the New Zealand all-time list. And he's now put himself up alongside Glenn Howard.
Glenn Howard won a gold, of course, in the 1994 Auckland Commonwealth Games in the high jump. Sorry, the 1994 Oceania Junior Championships.
And 1994 would have been Gordon Windier.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
He was my student at back in the day.
He went on to compete. This is Glenn, not Gordon. Glenn competed at the 2000 Sydney Olympics, where he finished equal 27th.
Seeing here
Ash
as
Maloney.
well.
Unconventional style.
Seeing here, Glenn has 7 national titles in the high jump in New Zealand, as you might expect of an athlete of his calibre.
Enjoyed a trans-Tasman rivalry with Tim Forsyth. Similar vintage. As
Here
we
we go.
see another attempt at the an outright New Zealand record in the high jump.
Oh,
We'll have one more attempt. Sunglasses come off.
Quite rightly so. I took mine off quite a while ago and all of a sudden I could see. It was a miracle. I could see that the lights were on.
And the high jump is indicating he's
Yeah.
pulled out. He's happy to equal the national record. He's had a fantastic day. Picked up an Oceania Championship, a national record. There he is, congratulated by Brandon Stark. And takes out the high jump.
Yeah,
at
they've
this
got some
year's.
serious European competitions ahead of them to get ready for Doha and beyond.
See him currently posing for some photos under the bar.
as well he might.
Well, what can Cedric Jubler do? This is his third attempt.
I've been photographed at the bar.
Oh, well clear. Jubler. Jubilant Jubler.
I keep
As he
sitting
clears-
here sceptical, and as you keep telling me, Matt, he's a clutch third jump specialist.
It's been the way of this competition
Oh,
for
well,
Cedric.
We'll be here another hour
Is
or
that-
two.
And Andrew Matthews just said to me, 10 o'clock. The projection keeps going out and out and out.
And the pressure goes back on to his young rival, Ash Maloney.
And this could be a game changer in the competition. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, Ash had an overnight lead, but that now in a bit of jeopardy.
Oh, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Ash Maloney, and the white flag goes up. a 40 centimetre PB, and these two competitors are having the time of their life.
And there'll be more.
We put down the glasses and let Cedric have a few jumps first. This really is amazing stuff. As the bar goes to 5 metres 10.
Tell you what, I'm going to start getting an identity check on Chris. He's now claiming that he also jumped as a boy with the current New Zealand national record holder in the high jump. Is there anything this man doesn't do? And Cedric's giving us a signal just to the officials for the positioning of the uprights. And Chris has also given us another update that he regards Cedric as now being on track for 8,215 points. So all of a sudden we are back in the World Championships qualification conversation. And he's told us that Ash is now only 2 points off Doa. So Cedric looking in a good position to get there. Ash just an inch off. Now I'm not sure if he's basing that on PB averages in the Jav and the 15. You can clarify that for us, Chris, that'd be great. We'll, unless they turn the lights out on us here, we'll endeavour to bring you the Jav and the 15. Here we go.
Cedric Dubler.
Ooh.
Status quo remains.
Interesting,
yes,
yeah.
We wouldn't have expected him to get it on the first go. It's too easy.
Now, as much as we say that, fatigue will be starting to set in. These guys started at 1 o'clock local time, and it's now 8 o'clock in the evening. And for
we're fatigued.
For Cedric, that's 10 jumps.
I don't think we're going to get heaps of sympathy. So.
Oh, well. We can always hope. At least the pole vault officials haven't had to move it 3 times today.
Quite right.
I've been out there for 4 hours.
Yeah. For those not picking that up, Andrew did point out they have been out there for 4 hours. So maybe not moving it around, but certainly earning there not very much money.
Oh, ever so close.
Good
Ash
height.
Maloney, good height.
Good height, yes.
Just share with our viewers a bit of background. We're thanking Chris. I think we're sleuthing on Chris. Chris is actually a Masters athlete and I believe competed at the World Masters in Auckland back in 2017. And would it surprise you that his event was the Decathlon, Matty?
Wouldn't at all.
So Chris, if we've just done
here he is, and he's just confirmed for me. You can see that on the screen if you're watching at home. All the projections are based on existing PBs in the following events, being the Jav and the 1500.
So
and he's giving us more of his background as well. Thanks for this, mate. He's a kid athlete in Canterbury and had athletics meets at the old QE2 Park. Lots of congratulations pouring in all seriousness for Hamish Kerr.
really is a fantastic effort.
A national record.
National record.
And particularly a record of that calibre.
So we might just share with the listeners. We mentioned half an hour ago it seemed to have dropped a few degrees. That trend's continued, and the wind, which is behind these athletes in the pole, literally running at their tail, as you can see from that windsock on the runway, it has strengthened slightly, and the gusts seem to be a little stronger. As we look at the bar set at 5 metres 10. What can these two do next? I think we all thought we'd be gone from this competition in the pole vault half an hour ago, but they continue to dish up a fantastic competition.
Andrew's certainly seen some long competitions in his time. Be interesting to chat with him after and see where this ranks. Yeah. There you go. The longest pole vault, certainly. It's the man that managed the sport at the Commonwealth Games, so he's been around the traps. Here's Cedric getting the crowd behind him. Second attempt, I think.
Yes, that's correct. Second attempt. He's not due, but let's see what he can do.
Yes.
Again, a bit of gusty wind coming around the time he was running in. He was under a bit of time pressure there, so he had to get on with it.
Just slow to get himself up from the mat. I think we are starting to see some signs of fatigue.
He has managed the front roll off though, so
yeah,
still some energy there.
10 points for style, that roll. It was a good one.
Tell you what, this is the most accurate comment so far on screen for you. New Zealand is absolutely having a field day.
And a track day.
Boom, boom.
What can Ash Maloney do? Second attempt at 5 metres 10 in completely uncharted waters for the young Queenslander. Nope.
Of course, Edward Nesakita and Zoe Hobbs a bit earlier tonight, in the peak of the evening's excitement, pulled off the 100-metre blue ribbon double in both the men's and the women's for the Kiwis. And of course, Hamish Kerr now equaling the national record in the high jump has made it a banner day for New Zealand athletics. And yet again, another sign that the fears of Australian domination unfounded. Hamish getting the better of the reigning Commonwealth and Diamond League champion in Brendan Stark in that competition.
Just watching an interesting interchange, which sadly we can't bring the viewers, between Eric Brown, Paul Burgess and Ash Maloney. Paul seemed very pleased with Ash's attempt at that last one. Obviously,
here we go.
Giving some great advice. Here goes Cedric. It's not to be. That's him out. Clearance at 5 metres for Cedric Jubler, and a great performance today at the red track in Townsville in the pole vault of in the decathlon.
Certainly not over for him.
No,
to go and
a bit of a jab and a bit of a 1500 metre.
Absolutely.
Do you reckon we could get a quick word with you on the live stream? Yeah. So, will this be the last jump in what's been a fantastic pole vault competition in the men's decathlon? Competition leader going into this event was Ash Maloney, and he's jumping with the bar set at what would be a 50 centimetre PB, half a metre PB if he can clear this height. His third attempt. Taking his time. What's he got? Oh, so close. Not to be, but a fantastic competition for the young Queenslander, Ashley Maloney, as he bows out in the pole vault in the men's decathlon. So while we reset, there's 2 events remaining in the men's decathlon this evening. Current local time is 8 o'clock. We're just going to pause for a quick break, thank some of our supporters, and give you an opportunity to go and refresh. We'll be back for more in the men's decathlon, the Javelin and the men's 1500 to come.
What are cities built on? An idea? They are built on the vision of people who see the potential and fight to make it happen. Growth doesn't come easy. It takes planning, promoting, lobbying behind the scenes to secure the next milestone that will propel everything forward. And with each new project, new jobs are created, opportunities, creating ripples through every industry. Building our region is everyone's business. Join with us. Let's grow together.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We thought we had a longer break than we've actually got because, as you would have seen earlier in the night, the decathlon has been split up between the under-18s and the under-20s, and the Opens are obviously just finishing the pole vault. So the 18s and 20s have now done their jav, and they're getting ready for the 1500. It looks like we might have a couple of minutes here, so I might just see if I can grab Hamish Kerr, who's been kind enough to join us up here, and just let me know if I run out of time for this 1500, and we'll keep Hamish around.
We'll keep an eye on it just while you're getting set there. So it looks like the under 18s and under 20s were able to complete their javelin, whilst the in the excitement of the pole vault at the other end of the arena, and they'll be pleased. Younger boys will get to bed earlier than the older boys, so we will see how it goes. I'm going to now throw to Matt, who's going to be joined, I think, by the gold and silver medalist. Hamish Kerr first up. New national record. Over to you, Matt.
Congratulations. We've got to come a bit further around. I think Matt can hear me okay. I'm not getting a wave. Hamish, mate, that's a New Zealand national record. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it is an equal record, so I don't quite have the outright one, but yeah, no, I'm bloody over the moon.
Talk to the comp itself. I mean, there's a fair bit of breeze swirling around. It's been playing havoc with the pole vaulters a little bit. You had some pretty handy competition sitting over there in Brandon Stark. Talk us through the comp itself from your perspective.
It was pretty good. Like, we kind of weren't sure when we were going to start, obviously, with the pole vault going on. So I kind of just started chill. Hopefully, just thought I'd get into the comp as it progressed, and I did that. So I was pretty happy. The wind wasn't too bad. It's sort of more of like a cross tail for us. So it's much better than like a headwind, for example. So yeah, conditions were pretty good. Much better than New Zealand at the moment. So yeah, can't complain in that respect.
And where to from here? So you've obviously set a new personal best by a margin, and obviously given yourself a great look at the outright national record. But where do you think you might be able to chase it?
Well, I'm going to World Unis in a couple of weeks' time, so we're shooting over there on Saturday. The whole sort of point of the trip was to try and get a Doha qualifier, and obviously that's done now. So I guess just have some fun, jump some good heights, and hopefully get a couple more PBs, and yeah.
The 1500 metres is underway, so we'll break away from this, but congratulations, mate. The other thing, we'll just catch while this first lap gets underway, massive contingent of support here from the New Zealand crowd. We saw Ed Nesakita and Zoe Hobbs take out both of the men's and women's hundreds early tonight. It's been a pretty banner day for New Zealand athletics.
Oh, it's been awesome. Like, I think that the whole revamp with the IAAF rankings has just, boosted this event. The New Zealand team's just been absolutely awesome, and yeah, hopefully it's like this for years to come.
Thanks very much for joining us, mate. Congratulations, equal national record holder Hamish Kerr. And if Brandon Stark might just ask Brandon to bear with us for a moment while we get through this 1500.
Just a quick update on the 1500. Sebastian Reinecke takes them through the first lap with looks like Matthew O'Comp in third, and looks like the young 18-year-old in fourth place currently. I might cross back to you, Matt.
So we'll just grab Brandon Stark here off camera. Brandon, 2:22 today. Obviously, great to be out there with Hamish, but a little bit disappointing from your own perspective.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just to put it bluntly. I was looking to jump a bit higher. Yeah, but it is what it is. I think I got to go back and train quite a bit now before any more comps. But yeah, it's good to see Hamish jump the qualifier and jump so well. I've jumped against him twice now, and he's beaten me both times. So looking forward to what he can produce in the future.
And over to Europe, I imagine, later this year. Obviously, the defending Diamond League champion. So yep. I imagine you're pretty keen to get back over and get amongst it.
Yeah, well, I think I need to work on a lot of things at the moment, just to kind of get it a bit more sharp. I would love to go over, but I think it depends on how everything is going. Fingers crossed, but I'll definitely be going over at some stage.
Right. We'll let you go. Thanks very much for joining us anyway.
Thank you.
And we'll get back to this men's 1500, which has got just under 800 to run.
So we've got Sebastian Reinecke, who was the overnight leader in the under-20s. He is certainly setting the pace with Liam Gilbert, who's one of the under-18 competitors, just sitting on his tail at the moment. And it looks like it might be Hasahi Lukulu from Tonga that's currently in the third position. And Matthew O'Camp from New Zealand in fourth, as they make their way around past the 200-metre start.
It's a cruel way to finish the decathlon. you can certainly understand why they all congregate together at the end. You know, they've been through 2 days of intense competition, the 10 events. But to finish with a 1500 metres is almost a step too far.
So Sebastian, it's been a slight change here. We've seen Liam Gilbert take the lead, the young 17-year-old from Australia, into the bell lap with Sebastian Reinecke on his shoulder. What have they got as Sebastian goes past? Again, a change of lead, asserting some authority here on the youngster.
So we'll pick up a look at the time as well as they go through.
Cam Moffat, in fact, the under-18, is taking them through in 3rd place from New Zealand. So
they went through the 1200 in about 350, I think. So pretty impressive running for juniors on the 2nd day of a very long competition.
And in fact, if we look down the back straight, Sebastian Reinecke has really extended that lead. And he's working hard. He's got a nice little rhythm up as he comes around into the home straight for the final time in this competition. What's been a big 2 days. This 18-year-old from Australia. Let's keep an eye on the clock. Heading towards a 4:46. 4:46. It is. And a 4:50 for the young junior Liam Gilbert. He'll be the 2nd across the line. Cameron Moffat from New Zealand. Looks like he's just been headed by Sanufi Tafua from Tonga. And Matthew Ocamp, New Zealand. As you see, quite often after the men's 1500 has finished in a decathlon, these guys just getting together to support each other and congratulate each other on 2 days of fun competition. The final athlete from Tonga, I think this is Ahasi Lukulu, 15 years of age, has had quite possibly the biggest 2 days of his life.
Okay.
I hope to see a lot of these Tongans at competitions in the future. They've had a wonderful experience. Such a large team coming here to Townsville. We hope that they'll stay with the sport and not be seduced into rugby, and that we will see them in the future at a big track and field meet somewhere around the Pacific, somewhere around Oceania.
So we will swing our camera around and get it set up for the Jav. It's still going to be a while away. So we might now actually have a little bit of time for a break. Now, we mentioned early this morning that we were doing a bit of a lap and finding some people who are competing over the next couple of days. 2 of those are Sarah Klein and Jen Cowie, both of Australia, who will be competing in the women's 400 metre hurdles final on the back of their heats yesterday. So they just had a bit of light work today to get through, and I was fortunate enough to catch up with Sarah and Jen this morning. Here's what they had to say.
Sarah Klein gets ready to go in the 400 metre hurdles tomorrow afternoon. The heat yesterday, fastest qualifier. You ready to go?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty ready than ever, I guess. But yeah, feeling good.
Talk us through the heat yesterday. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good. It was a little bit breezy out there, but not too bad. Track felt really good and felt pretty comfortable. So yeah, pretty happy with it.
Just a bit of a shakeout today, and then of course into the final tomorrow. Any race plans at the moment, or just take it as it comes?
just take it as it comes, I guess. Just go out hard and try and finish harder, but yeah, see how it goes.
And what about post Oceania Championships? What's on the agenda for post Townsville?
Not sure. It's just going to see how it goes, and then yeah, I guess that's it. Go well then.
Thanks very much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. See ya.
Jen Cowie, part of the Team Lynn's Super Squad down in Sydney. Another one heading over to World Unis, but first you've got the final of the 400 hurdles.
Yeah, I've got the final on tomorrow. I think it's about 3:30. Not really too sure. Should double check. But yeah, really excited to get a good hit out before World Unis. Just see what we need to work on and stuff like that. So pretty excited for that.
And talk us through the prelim yesterday. Everything seemed to tick over pretty smoothly.
Yeah, it was a bit windy on the back straight here, and I kind of got blown away a bit because I'm a bit small and not too strong. But round the bend felt really nice and just kind of rolled out the legs. So I actually really enjoyed it. It was fun.
And plans for the final itself? Have you caught up with Lynn's yet to go through the race plan?
Yeah, we did bit of strides this morning, so probably just go a bit faster and try to be a bit more aggressive. But yeah, I'm pretty keen for the final. Hopefully smash out a good time. So. And
then I imagine jumping on a plane pretty quickly to get over to Italy.
Yeah, so I'll go back to Sydney for one day, and then I'm going to go straight over to Rome and into the camp for World Unis, so I'm really excited.
And is there a bit of a European plan off the back of that, part of the Target Tokyo program with Sydney Uni?
Well, unfortunately I couldn't do as much of the Target Tokyo because I came here last minute, but if I get into some races maybe in Belgium or something like that, I'll go over and do that too. But if not, I'll just travel and enjoy my time over there.
Thanks very much, Jen Cowie. Good luck in the 400 hurdles final tomorrow.
Thanks so much, Matt. See ya.
So that Jen Cowie and Sarah Klein reflecting on the lead into the 400 metre hurdles final tomorrow after 9 for the ladies as they get ready for competition. We also have some results here of that 1500 metres. So these are the results from the under 18s. And Liam Gilbert, as you can see, gets 620 points for his trouble, running 4:49. Cameron Moffat, 5:04, gets him 535 points. Mason Tyber, 5:11, gets him 494 points. And Hasi Lakulu, how'd I go, Bob? Gets Lakulu, gets 354 for his 5:39. And I think we will have the current standings here. Yes, this is after 9 of the 10. No, sorry, of course, these are the final results. 1500's last. It's been a long day. Liam Gilbert will be the Oceania champion with 6,859 points. Mason Tyber picks up the silver medal with 6,255 points. Cameron Moffat will be bronze for Australia, for New Zealand, with 5,921 points, and Lakulu gets a 4th place finish with 5,017 points. We've also got the results here. Of course, that was a combined race, the 1500 for the under-20s. 643 points for the winner, Reniki, for his 4:46. Tuafua gets second in 5:04. And 4 seconds back, Matt Ockamp of New Zealand continues the very strong day for the Kiwis with a bronze medal for his 5:08. Yes, the boys are more than welcome to come up here and have a look if they like. We've got some of the decathletes having a look. Don't stand back there, boys. Come over here and give us a quick shout. Sebastian Reniki takes the gold medal with 6,956 points. Simon Young with 6,167, and Matt Ockamp with 6,162. Do I have Sebastian there? Is Sebastian hanging around? Come up here, mate. We're just waiting for the Javelin to get underway in the opening, so come up here, mate. We won't have you on camera. Sorry, I'm a bit out of it. That's all right. We won't have you on camera. It's been a long 2 days, but Sebastian, a gold medal at the Oceania Championships.
Awesome. Been working so hard to get to it, so it's really nice. I finally finished the Decathlon this season. I've missed out on like 3 of them that I've done, like no hiding pole vault or long jump, but That's awesome. Finally finished one.
It's been a long 2 days of competition. That pole up, this man here behind us is one of the most experienced competitors in Australia. He's never seen a longer pole vault competition by the time the Open's got come as well. It's been a long couple of days.
Yeah, very long. I'm absolutely stuffed.
So I've just realised, if you're wondering why there was silence on the live stream, that the microphone wasn't on. So we'll start that again. Sebastian, sorry mate, I know you're out of breath as it is. You've got an Oceania Championship. It's been a very long couple of days.
Yep, very happy to finally finish off the decathlon. Had a lot of comps this season and haven't finished any of them, so it's great to finally finish one, although it wasn't quite the score I was looking for, but still stoked with the competition.
It's been a very long couple of days. We're looking at the pole vault here, which just went on and on and on by the time the Opens got done as well, the combined event with the 18s and the 20s. You must be pretty buggered by now.
Yep, I am stuffed. Yeah, gave it all I had in that 1500, so don't have much left in me right now. But yeah.
And what's next from here, mate? You've obviously got the rest of the Open season to go. It's pretty much done for the juniors now as far as international comps go, but what's your plan for the rest of the year?
Yep, just keep on training, keep on working towards that World Junior Qualifier, which I know I can definitely get, so can't wait to finally get a good decathlon and try to get that score.
Well, congratulations, mate. Sebastian Renicki, the Oceania champion for 2019 in the under-20 men's decathlon. So thanks for having a look over our shoulder at the points, and congratulations.
Enjoy Nairobi.
And we have here, this is the full results of the pole vault in the men's senior decathlon. So Cedric and Ash ended up square with 5 metres. They get the same number of points because attempts don't matter in the decathlon. Kyle Cranston third in that event at 470, and then we start to drop down with Jack Henry and the very happy Florian Jaffray, who managed to get 450, and we should have the standings after 8 of 10 events in decathlon. And here are the official standings. Ash Maloney on 6,853 points, Cedric Dubler on 6,785, and Florian sits third in the competition, 6,197. Kyle Cranston in 6,189. So those are the standings after 8 of the 10 events of the men's senior decathlon.
Just 68 points separating the top 2 there. This is going to be quite a tussle over these last 2 events. Hopefully our man on the ground in the US, who's providing us with all the stats, he is still awake.
Well, look for an update. Speaking of Chris, he just shared a pretty moving note actually in the comments section. I won't repeat that on the stream, but for those playing along at home, good on you, Chris, for being open about those issues and hoping to and overcoming them, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the start line of the decathlon at the World Masters.
Chris might even want to come to the Oceania Masters at Norfolk Island in January 2021, so which will be a fantastic event. We'd love to see you there.
So we're still waiting for this Javelin to get underway. 2 of the other competitors going around tomorrow will be Josh Ralph and Mason Cohen in the men's 800, which should be a really good event. We also had a chance to catch up with Josh and Mason earlier in the day, and this is what they had to say. Josh Ralph was one of the fastest qualifiers yesterday for the men's 800 metre final. Mate, talk us through the prelim. How'd you feel in that?
Yeah, it was good. Felt pretty cruisy, just rolled around. It was a good shakeout for the legs. It was a very tactical affair, so didn't pull up bad or anything. So yeah, feeling good and ready for the final tomorrow.
And what's on today? Just to tick the legs over, keep everything running nice and smoothly?
Yeah, I just did an easy 5K to Sands, a couple of stretches and a few run-throughs, and yeah, just about to head to the beach and just I find the ocean's really good for recovery as well, and just trying to just stay moving, keep life normal, and yeah, I'll be ready for tomorrow.
And any plans for the final yet? Just take the race how it comes. It's a bit of a mix of paces in the race, obviously.
Yeah, I don't want it to be too slow because you want these points to really count. But yeah, it's all about the win tomorrow. So I'll see how the race goes and get it going if I need to. Or it's all about the win.
Good stuff, mate. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Mason Cohen, despite being heckled in the background by Team Australia, getting ready for the 800 final. Talk us through the prelims yesterday, mate.
Yeah, they went well. Managed to get the win. So, happy with that. It was fairly cruisy, so just getting the body ready for the final.
And talk us through the final itself. Obviously, you want to get a bit of speed into the race with the points implications, but any concrete plans for the final at the moment?
Nothing yet. I'll just see how it goes. Mid-race, kind of. That's what I usually do. But I'm sort of prepared if it's slow or fast. I've got a bit of a plan either way. So. And
what's the plan post-Oceania Championships? Any races in mind yet, or just reassess after the conclusion of these titles? Yeah, got
our uni games in Italy, so this will be a good platform for that. That's probably the main goal, to try to do well over in Italy. So hopefully it goes well here and gets me on a good roll for Italy. Well, good luck tomorrow, mate, in the final. Perfect. Thanks, Matt. Cheers.
So we're also getting ready for the Javelin to get back underway here at the Decathlon, and of course not only the athletes are the story here but also the officials, and Matt managed to catch up with Terry this morning to talk about some of the work that goes on behind the scenes here at the Oceania Championships.
I'm here this morning with Trevor Spittle, our lead international technical official. And Trevor, there's about 120 tech officials here at the meet. What can you say about the calibre of officials we've got so far?
There's a great calibre of officials here. A lot of them did Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast, and a lot of them are international officials in their own right, and most of them are very experienced.
And the conditions on the first day and the performances that you saw, how did you think it rated?
Oh, I think it was up there with the top international meetings, the world champs, etc. like that. And there's a lot of great performances going on, and they're all trying to qualify and get rankings to go to Doha and look towards Tokyo next year.
And the ranking system seems to have really changed things for the Oceania Championships. What have been your observations so far?
Well, the biggest number of athletes we had before were about 180. We've got 730 odd here, so that speaks for itself. It's just pushed it way beyond what Oceania champs were all about in the past. We've got great teams from all the big federations, New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea, Tonga. They're all sending big teams, whereas they used to only send 4 or 5 in previous years.
And you're a New Zealander. Any highlights so far, or anyone in particular you're looking forward to watching over the next couple of days?
I was officiating on women's shot put last night, and New Zealand got first and second, which really enthralled me. But there's some great performance. I'm looking forward to Eddie running in the 100 metres again and seeing what he does there.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us and have a great meet.
Pleasure. Thanks, Matt.
Okay, so we're still awaiting the start of the Javelin. The boys still warming up. I can see some training jabs being lobbed out there, as you'd be able to see on the stream as well.
Just while they're warming up, Maddie, we just had a bit of a consult with David Tarbotton, one of the great statsmen of Australian athletics and in fact world athletics, and Tarby tells us, we all know that Cedric and Ash had a great competition in Gotsis a month ago, where Cedric missed qualifying for the Worlds and Olympics by 14 points. At the same point in the competition, Cedric was 14 points behind where he is. So he's 14 points ahead of where he was with 2 events to go.
Which is 1 point short of where he wants to be.
Correct. So we are right on it for a qualifier.
Who said multis weren't exciting?
Yeah, correct.
It's all building up here. So we'll just let you watch these guys warm up, and we'll just take a bit of a break from commentary for a moment, but you can keep watching them warm up and we'll come back to you when the competition kicks off in earnest.
And welcome back to the second last event of the Decathlon. It is the Javelin, and we're just waiting on the event order. I think we've just seen our first throw of the competition.
The snazzy little buggy is taking the Jav back, courtesy of the Commonwealth Games. It's a great way to do it. Toys for boys.
So it looks like that might be Jack Henry that's just thrown a 45-28.
So that links to the line.
And that could be the New Caledonia athlete. Florian Jaffray, we think, has just apologies in advance. We are a long way from the Javelin area, and we're just straining our eyes to get the event order. So that was Florian, and he's thrown a 53-10 with his first effort.
Yeah, so I think what we've got is Mossy, Lualaka and Kavalu are not in this competition. They've thrown with the under 18s and the under 20s. And so we're looking at Jack Henry, who has thrown 45-28 as his first attempt, and Florian, who's just thrown 53-10. And we'll just have Maloney, Cranston and Dubler left, and Ash Maloney has just thrown 49-04 for his first attempt.
So we'll have Kyle Cranston will be the next to pick up the Jav.
Yes, in the tight competitions it can be absolutely gripping. I'll never forget the 1984 Olympics with Glynis and Jackie Joyner-Kersey. That was unbelievable, the tension down on the field. You guys are too young to remember it.
I've got some great Ashton Eaton memories.
I was living in the highlands of Papua New Guinea then and watched it on satellite television. It was exciting. Oh, a very good one.
Cranston goes in with a 62.73 PB, and that's right out there. The little markers are quite deceiving. The angle of our camera is not going to make that easy for you, but we'll see where that one's at. Well, it's a big throw. It's a 59.40. Our biggest throw for the competition. And not far from PB territory for Cranston. Next to step up, Dubler, as we said, he's 14 points better off at this point in the competition than he was at Gotsis
yes.
a month ago,
yes.
where he narrowly missed, ironically, by 14 points. a World Championship qualifier. Can he hold his form?
Can he improve?
And Cedric 49.48 for his first attempt.
And we should be back to the Kiwi. Jack Henry, what a day New Zealand's had at the red track today. Double in the 100, an equal national record in the high jump. But wait, there's more.
Absolutely.
We have another 2 days of competition remaining.
We should interview Trevor Spittle a little bit later and get his end of...
Jeez, that looks right.
Big throw for Henry.
His end of competition summation. I'm sure he'll be a lot happier then.
Henry opened with a 45.28. Expect that one to go further.
It's always great when a particular country has an exceptional day as a group. I remember being fortunate enough to be inside the Olympic Stadium when the most successful night in the history of British athletics, Jessica Ennis, Greg Rutherford and Mo Farah won the heptathlon, including the 800 within the heptathlon, the long jump and the 10,000 metre final on the same night, and just outside the zone
outside the sector. And just while that's been going on, we've had the result through for Henry's second throw. It is an improvement, a big one too, a 48.77. So he improves his position in this competition by 3.5 metres or thereabouts. And it was a fantastic night of athletics that night. And
the other thing about it was that sitting over on the back straight where Rutherford was jumping, and Rutherford's 5th and 6th attempts in the competition, having to sew up the gold medal and to then go for more, occurred while Farah was running the 10,000. So the night just built to this climax for the crowd, 60,000 or so in that Olympic Stadium in London. Certainly the most atmosphere I've ever witnessed in an Olympic stadium.
The noise was amazing. I was back at that same stadium 2 weeks later for the Paralympics, and I'm told reliably, in fact by the president of World Athletics, Lord Sebastian Coe, that the decibel reading for Johnny Weir was actually greater.
Wow.
So, and it was a sensational night as Ash Maloney hurls the spear.
Well, all I can boast is being there on the 25th of September 2000. One of the greatest nights of athletics ever. It was just fantastic.
My father, who's lurking over there, was there the same night.
It was just stunning.
Everyone, of course, remembers Kathy, but
there was so much more.
But Gabrielle Selassie for mine in the greatest 10,000 metre final of all time against Turgott.
Hold the press, gentlemen, hold the press. Ash Maloney's improved by 5 metres. He's thrown a 54.38. So closing in on his 56.19, which is PB. Kyle Cranston, you can see in the distance.
Oh, and the guy with the remote control is having so much fun.
Have it on good authority. These are the cars from the Commonwealth Games.
That's
one of them
correct. Yes.
Found its way in
I mentioned they've been liberated from
why not?
the Gold Coast. And I think this is the second one that's made its way up here, as I understand it.
Cranston, second throw, looks just inside the sector.
I've got a wonderful souvenir from the Sydney 2000 Olympics. I've got one of the batons that's a prized possession.
Is that another one that got liberated? Or?
No, I was presented by Bill Bailey.
I used to know very well one of the great contributors to Oceania Athletics, Jeffrey Martin.
Yes.
The late
who
Jeffrey
sadly
Martin.
passed away last year, but as well as being one of the great contributors, as was noted at his funeral, he was also one of the great liberators. And I remember speaking with the people who had the somewhat fortunate task of clearing out some of his things, and to say that a few unexpected items showed up in the course of doing that would be an understatement. Now, who have we got out there?
So we've just seen Jubler throw his second throw, but in the meantime, I've got the result in from Kyle Cranston. He's also improved, so all progressing. And he's thrown a 60-45 with his second throw, and Cedric's thrown a 51-66. As these athletes are all warming up into this competition.
Now, thanks again to Chris, who's making some more contributions to us. So Maloney needs a 56-37 throw to be on target for Doha, and that's assuming his 1500 PB. That'll put him on 8200 points. And Ash's projection is 8171 with his current throw. So thanks, Chris. Keep that coming. I think Andrew, who we've dispatched out onto the field, has also managed to shoot us a shot of the leaderboard after, I think this is actually, yeah, so this is the leaderboard after the 3 attempts.
As Jack Henry fires the spear high into the sky and deep into the field with a great throw. His second effort was a 48-77. Be interesting to see. I think that's out there. It is indeed. In fact, it's a 52.03. So the upward trend continues in this javelin competition. As they enter the third round. Florian from New Caledonia will be the next man to throw. Opened with a 53, followed that with a foul, and will be looking to improve with his third throw. We see that buggy is having the buggy driver's having a great time. Keeping an eye on. It looks like it's Robin Sapong of Northern Marianas Islands, one of our technical officials, who's also a member of the Oceania Council, out there watching his ankles as that buggy comes in. Here comes Florian. What's he got?
Looks a good one. Hard to tell. Wrong perspective.
Needs a 53.10 or better to improve his position in this competition. As the spear is retrieved, finds its way back into the very Australian dune buggy. Of course, at the London Olympics, they used minis. Very Austin Powers like.
So another result through there for Geoffroy, 53.07.
So 3 centimetres shy of his first effort, but on the board again.
So the 2 contenders, Dubler sitting at a best of 51.66, and Ash Maloney sitting on a best of 54.38.
Speaking of Ash Maloney, that was his third throw that you just saw. Will it be his furthest? Sitting on 54.38. After 2, can he improve with his third? No, it doesn't look like it. 50.79, 50.79.
So Ash will end the competition with a best of 54.38, and thanks to Chris, that projects him at 81.71 for a total points haul if he can run his 1500 PB in probably half an hour's time. That will be will obviously be a bit of an ask after how long this competition has gone, even for a decathlon. So he may fall a little short of that World Championships qualifier of 8200, but of course he may run a 1500 PB.
He's certainly in good shape. He's had a reasonably heavily strapped knee for the last 2 competitions. or the last 2 events of this decathlon competition, but he's certainly in great form as Kyle Cranston launches. That is out there. I think that's the biggest throw we've seen tonight. Cranston, he's sitting on 60 metres so far with his second. What's he got with his third?
Certainly some applause from over this side of the stadium, so the initial feel was good. And there it is, 64.41.
Wow.
So right out there.
And that's a PB. It's a big improvement on his PB. Previous PB was 62.73. So he saved his best till last. Allah.
So 1 to go. Dubler with what will be the last throw of this stage of the competition. Oh, yes. Very high. I'm not sure it's going to go long enough.
No, it won't be. It was lucky it stayed in the sector.
He won't improve on his 51.66 second round throw. So what we'll see here is the order reversed based on performance, and we'll expect on that basis Kyle Cranston to be the last to throw.
That's it. That's it.
We're in the multis.
Oh, we are in the multis. I was getting excited.
Yeah.
And that
so
was
that'll be it.
That was a 48.71 for
Oh, I'm so glad
Cedric.
that there are not another 3 throws.
Oh, I'm loving this. What are you talking about, Bob? We could stay here all night.
We might.
I think we are at the moment.
For those of you who are in Las Vegas, it's about 6 minutes to 9 Queensland time. PM.
I tell you what, the best on ground today has to be Chris. It's got to be. Let me just check my phone. I looked this up earlier.
We sent him out a bottle of red wine.
It's 5 to 4 in the morning in Nevada, and he's still with us. We're about to tick over.
I do things
hours.
like that, but I'm retired. I hope Chris is retired.
We're about to tick over 8 hours in the chair, so.
So what I might just do, we might just run through best throws of those 5 athletes that have just finished the Jav as they pack up that area. And a few of the officials, no doubt, quite happy to start packing up just with the one event remaining. The New Zealander, Jack Henry, his best effort, he saved until last. He threw a 52.03. Florian Geoffrey from New Caledonia, the veteran in the field, had a best performance with his first throw of 53.10. The young Queenslander Ash Maloney, his second effort was his best of 54.38, 64.41. Continuing his good competition. In fact, it'd be interesting to see the tussle between he and Geoffrey, and whether that's enough to move him into the bronze medal position going into this final event, where he's actually got one of the strongest 1500s in the field. But so Cranston a 60.45 and Dubler finished with a 51.66. So we'll see if we can get an updated point score shortly, no doubt before the start of the 1500. But going into the 1500, other than some tired fellas, it'll be interesting to see. You know, there's not much on PBs between Kyle Cranston and Cedric, and Ash is a bit further back. What can you tell us about Florian's distance running or middle distance running capabilities, Bob?
I've only ever seen him compete once, and that was at the mini games in Vanuatu in 2017. I'll see if I can look in my records here to see what his
So while we're digging around for that, one of the big improvements, and there's been a lot of discussion around the expansion of the Oceania Championships, has been an upscaling of the Paralympic program, and we caught up this morning with Carly Beattie, who is the world record holder in the long jump with a 6:01 and a gold medalist at the 2015 IPC World Champ. Carly had to say. Joined today by Carly Beattie from Oceania Athletics Association. One of the innovations or expansions of the Oceania Championships this year has been a broadening of the para-athletics involvement. And Carly, what have you noticed so far about it?
Oh, there was really good hype around it. We've actually got quite a good number of athletes, para-athletes that have come along. It just really creates more of an opportunity for para-athletes to get better quality competitions, which is really great to see.
There seemed to be a real mix of developing athletes as well as, well recognised Paralympians from, Chad and Scotty down. Do you think they're providing great role models for some of the younger developing athletes, not only from Australia and New Zealand, but from around the Pacific?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really good to see quite a number of the Pacific Islands have brought along identified para-athletes to get classified here, so it's really good to see them come along and be involved and be able to speak to these more senior athletes.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, and we'll touch base with you later on in the championship.
No worries, thank you.
Thanks there. And another one of the athletes who we'll be looking forward to seeing in this competition is Morgan Mitchell. A little bit later in the championships, she'll be running around the 800s following her transition to the middle distance events, up, of course, the Olympic semi-finalist in Rio over the 400 metres. But we managed to catch up with Morgan this morning as well. And just while we're waiting for the final Decathlon 1500 of the night, here's what Morgan had to say. With Morgan Mitchell, who goes around the straight final of the 800 metres on Thursday afternoon here. Talk us through your lead into the championships. You've been training well?
Yeah, everything's going well. We had a few races overseas in Asia, and I was pretty happy with how how I raced, I guess. My coach was happy, and now we've put in a good block of training, so I'm excited.
The squad's going well. Luke, obviously, with 3:36 the other day as well, so everything's ticking along nicely. Talk us through the plan for this championship as well. Straight final, so no need to run easy in a heat, but presumably looking for a bit of time with the points implications as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think, there's a strong field of girls from New Zealand and Australia. You've got Kat, who's killing it at the moment, so I think it's more so just get in the race and see what you can do. I trust that I'm fit enough to hopefully go quicker than 2:01, but, with the 800, it's very tactical, so anything can happen. But yeah, no, we're ready. It should be fun.
And plans post-championships at the moment? Anything concrete, or just going to recess after the conclusion of Townsville?
No, I've got World Unis in Italy with everyone, and then I think after that, depending on how I race, I'll try to get maybe 2 more races in, then go back into another base, and hopefully by then we have a qualifier of some sort. That'd be pretty nice. But yeah, we just keep racing. Europe might as well. It's nice and sunny and fun. Why not?
Awesome. Well, thanks, and good luck tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks to Morgan for taking the time this morning, and another one of the athletes who was kind enough to do that for us was Nana Owusu-Afi, who competes for Australia later on this week. Here's what Nana had to say. Nana's not competing until Friday, but she's here early. As you run into the championships, you've been out doing a bit of shopping.
Yes, I have been doing shopping. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad.
So your plans for the comp for yourself on Friday?
I'm very excited to get out there. It'll be a good hit out before World Unis next week. So I'm very excited to run with the girls in the 200. It's basically our national final, so it'll be a very good competition.
And you'd be on a plane pretty quickly to get over to Europe with all those guys, I imagine, for World Unis.
Yes, lucky I'm not in New Zealand. Thank you, guys.
She's one of the great characters of Australian athletics, Nana. This would have been poignant about 5 or 6 hours ago when we caught up with the New Zealand head coach Raylene, but better late than never. It still contains some reflections from yesterday's competition. So here's what Raylene had to say.
And yesterday with a couple of big standout events.
Yeah, we had a great start to the first day of the Oceania Champs. The 5,000 metres was absolutely superb. Great race with the 2 Kiwis, with Baxter and Chignall. Chignall coming out on top in the last 100 metres for a new Oceania record, so he was absolutely stoked. Also in the women's shot put, pure world-class throwing there. Maddie Welsh, athletes are absolutely stoked from their performances yesterday. Great points.
Fantastic. And what can we look forward to on the track and in the field today?
Well, the conclusion of the decathlon's always a great event. There's, pretty tight points between all the boys here today, and of course the start of the heptathlon for the women as well. So, it's always great to see the end of those events and the progress. Also, we've got the senior women's javelin. We've got Kelsey throwing, which is, even though she's Australian, we support Kelsey and our own Tori Peters as well. And probably for us, the big ones are the hundreds as well. So, some great performances.
Yeah, in the men's 100, you've got Edward making his international debut at the Oceania Championships for New Zealand.
Well, he ran the heats, so he's represented New Zealand now. So, looking at the finals, we're really excited for that. And, it should be some good performances out there.
Fantastic. We wish you all the best for today and look forward to seeing how the Kiwis go on the track and in the field.
And the Kiwis did pretty well. It's been a day of dominance for New Zealand, to be perfectly frank.
Absolutely. What a sensational day they've had. So probably the as exciting as the 100 metres were, that equaling the...
as we mentioned, plenty of work going on behind the scenes, and someone who knows that better than anyone is Barry Mullins, the competition manager here in Townsville, and we managed to catch up with Barry earlier today.
How is it in the hot seat, the biggest Oceania Championships ever?
Well, Matt, it was a baptism of fire to a degree, but day one of every session of any major event will give you your small little technical issues, but at the end of the day, every athlete went home with a performance. The jury was not called on, so I think everyone was quite happy. We now refined a few of our processes and we're ready to go.
Your team on pole vault certainly had a busy and long day yesterday.
The technical crew had a lot of training. We've got a course going at the moment, and they moved the pole vault mats 3 times to suit the athletes. But when we are dealing with athlete safety, we'll always go ahead of any easy way out for them. So we shifted it. It was a bit long competition, but the boys, I think, all appreciated what happened in the end.
And you chair the local organising committee. It seems like it's been a great way to engage some of the locals in the event.
Yeah, it has been. We've got a very good support. We've got 60 to 70, I believe, volunteers have come from the local community. I've even embraced some of my Hash House Harrier friends who have come in and who are relishing the ability to work with the best athletes in the region.
Fantastic. Good luck for the remainder of the meet.
Thanks, Matt.
And thanks to Barry for catching up with us as well. Barry leads a team not only of technical officials but also plenty of volunteers, and one of those who's been better than anyone is Casey Sims from down in Brisbane. Casey's running all of the social media work that you're seeing over the course of these championships and in the lead up on Instagram and Facebook and the like, and we caught up with Casey, who it's fair to say is running on not very much sleep on account of the editing work, and we caught up with Casey this morning. With Casey, who's the social media photography guru here at the Oceania Athletics Championships. You've had a long few days getting ready for this.
Yeah, it's definitely been a long few days, not only like behind the scenes, but also creating all the graphics everyone's been seeing, keeping on top of everything, and also researching all the events and all the athletes as well has taken up a lot of our time. But it's exciting, yeah.
What'd you make of the first day of competition? Any highlights in particular?
Ooh, so many highlights. Not sure. I just was so close to nationals just gone, so I was just really happy about seeing everyone that I know and getting out there and seeing them all achieving great things. The Papua New Guinean long jumper was definitely a surprise, but it was really great to see her jump really far and see all the girls just get around her, and excited to see what she does in the future. Yeah.
And you're out there with your camera, have been for all day yesterday and going to be for the rest of the championships. Where can people find all the photos and the content that are being produced by the championship team?
Okay, Facebook's our main place to go if you want to see the whole entire album. There's about 100 or 200 photos from yesterday all uploaded. I'm also posting stuff on Instagram and Twitter, and you can also follow the conversation at #OAC2019.
So for Instagram, that's at Oceania Athletics, and Oceania Athletics Association on the Facebook page. Casey, thanks. We'll let you get back and then hopefully get some sleep tonight.
I really need it. Thank you.
Apologies for the worst hat hair of all time on myself. the other superstar behind the scenes on the social media is, of course, Kobe Jane, who's been doing a heap of work with Casey in the lead into the championships and throughout the titles themselves.
Absolutely, the girls have done some great work, and you can check that out on the Oceania Championships or the Oceania Athletics Association Facebook and Instagram. So, which if you've found us, you've probably found them. So it's been great.
Absolutely.
So we're just going to try and get you some updated leaderboard
Yes.
for the Decath as we await the senior men. Here we go.
First up is the results of the Javelin discipline. So Kyle Cranston with that monster PB of 64.41 metres is good enough to pick up 804 points. Ash Maloney 54.38. Florian had a good one out there at 53.16. Gets 635 points for his trouble. But obviously the disappointing result in that is Cedric Dubler, who only managed to get 51.66 and be good enough for 7th in the discipline. As you can see a shot behind that graphic of some of the boys warming up for the final event of the day, the 1500 metres. And we have there an updated leaderboard. Ash Maloney sits atop the standings, 7,507 points. Dubler second, 7,398. If Chris is still listening, he might be able to tell us what 110 points looks like in a 1500 for the decathlon, because that'll be the difference between Dubler and Ash Maloney as to whether he's able to put himself into gold medal position.
So Matty,
and I think Andrew's on the case as well. So Andrew and
Matty, I might give you a bit of an update and give the listeners a bit of an update. So current projections, Ashley's only 29 points off Doha based on his 1500 metre base. So he needs 4:37.95 to get a qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, 5 second PB, but 50 centimetre PB in the pole vault. The guy's obviously in great shape. So you'd never count him out. So when you mentioned Cedric, who had a disappointing by his standard javelin, he's currently 55 points down. Now he's got a PB of 4:29. He's got to run 4:21. So it's an 8 second improvement for he's still young. I mean, we forget with Cedric, while a part of me wants to say he's a mature athlete, he's still young. And if I look around, the conditions, the flags across the field, and you can just catch them there off to the side of the leaderboard that we've shown. They've really dropped. So they've been flapping and tossing around in the wind all day, and that wind's really dropped off. Now, it's certainly cooled off, but it's not cool enough, I think, that it's going to be a negative for these guys over a 1500, particularly after the day's competition they've had. So, Matty, I think we could be in for some fireworks here.
And just in terms of the race for the lead, Andrew's just whispered in my ear that it's about 6 points per second. So we're looking at about an 18 or 19 second buffer that Ash has over Cedric in terms of this final 1500 discipline. So that's the time difference. Obviously we're very conscious of World Championship qualifiers for both Ash and Cedric, but that's the race for the gold medal as a first step. And Matt, you're also noting the gap between Kyle and Florian for the bronze medal.
So out of that decath, I mean, we talked about Kyle's great decath and his great jav. He's put himself onto the podium and jumped Florian and put a bit of a gap into him. So in going into this 1500, Kyle's got a really strong 1500. In fact, he's got the best. His PB is number one in this field. He's a 4:26 1500 guy, and again, we've like Ash and particularly like Ash, he's in red hot form at the moment. So I think Florian's going to have his work cut out. So Florian's PB is a 4:37, which he ran a couple of years ago. Now he's in good shape, clearly, but I suspect that we might have just seen Kyle jump on and claim that Aussie trifecta based on that event. But let's wait and see. It's still got
about 160 point gap there, so that would be about 26, 27 seconds of buffer.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. There's the word from Bob. So as we look out across the stadium, we can see down the back straight. We've got all of the athletes out there. They're warming up. It looks like there might still be some minutes. There's a few still in tracky dacks and not getting too active.
And 7:25, I've just been told, is the scheduled start time. So
it's another 10 minutes.
We're 7:25. We're in trouble if that's the case. It's 9:15. I know it's been a long day, Matty, but it's 9:15 local time. So they're running
9:25.
I'll wear that one. Yeah, that's all right. The guy whose fault it really was has done enough to have me wear that for him. So.
Correct. So if you're sitting up early in the early hours of the morning in the US and you need a cup of coffee, you've probably got 9 minutes to go and boil the kettle.
If you're Chris in Nevada and it's 4:15 in the morning.
Jeez, what a marathon! I mean, we think we've been going well. We've been following these guys and this competition since 1 o'clock this afternoon. But Chris, whew,
he can sleep in tomorrow.
Oh, here's hoping Chris doesn't have to make it to work tomorrow because I think there'll be some droopy eyes and he'll certainly need that coffee first up. But it has been a fantastic decathlon over the last 2 days, and these guys really have put on a great show.
They certainly have. We are, of course, at the Oceania Championships in the beautiful city of Townsville. We'll take a quick break and be right back. And now we don't even have the ads working. Let's try that again.
What are cities built on? An idea? They are built on the vision of people who see the potential and fight to make it happen. Growth doesn't come easy. It takes planning, promoting, lobbying behind the scenes to secure the next milestone that will propel everything forward. And with each new project, new jobs are created, opportunities, creating ripples through every industry. Building our region is everyone's business. Join with us. Let's grow together.
Back we go.
Back we go. And we've got our final event of the night, the men's Decathlon 1500 metres. And the guys are on the line. Just while we're waiting for the gun to go, as one of our followers has noted, Chris in Nevada has had more mentions than any athlete today, and he's been a fantastic resource. So, Chris, direct message us. We'll get you. We'd like to send you a T-shirt, and we'll get Ash and Cedric to sign it, especially, and we'll get it across to you.
We might need Florian to sign it as well if he ends up on this podium, or Kyle.
I think we might.
We'll see if we can get you the podium.
Let's go
Chris.
for it. Anyway, so big shout out to Chris. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning, or it is 5 o'clock in the morning in Nevada, 4:20 or something. He's been with us all day. So
this is the start list for this 1500. Some odd hip numbers there, but we'll muddle through.
So if we just do a quick run through of the PBs and what we'd expect to see. Ash Maloney, a 4:42 PB, and he'll be looking for a 4:37.95. That'll get him to Doha. Cedric's a 4:29 PB. He's looking for a 4:21 PB to get to Doha as they are stepping up on the line. Matty, over to you to call the opening stages.
Oh.
No, they're back off, so I'll keep rolling through. Florian has a 4:37. Kyle Cranston, who's moved into third place, a 4:26. Jack Henry, a 4:51. And we also note we're joined by Cletus Mosi from Papua New Guinea, who's rejoining the group to compete in this final event.
So remember, we're looking for something in the order of a 20-second difference between Ash Maloney and Cedric Dubler, which would be required to turn the tables and change the gold medal position. Matt will keep us updated as to what we're looking for in terms of World Championships qualifiers. I think that's Jack Henry of New Zealand, who has shot up to the front of the field. He's sitting on the front of Kyle Cranston, then Dubler, and then Maloney. Then comes Mossy from, I think that's Jaffray actually, pardon me, from New Caledonia, and then the Papua New Guinean athlete as well.
Goes
Cletus Mosi.
Yes, I'm sure this will be a massive PB for him for his decathlon. He's relatively new to the event. He's tried it a few times, but back home in Papua New Guinea, it is just so difficult to stage a decathlon. He's got to do it overseas because they don't have the pole vault equipment. They don't have the officials that can do it. So go on, Cletus, get some good practice for RPA.
So Jack Henry went through in a pretty nippy, I reckon, 63 seconds or so for the 400. That wouldn't be entirely out of place. I wager that the opening lap of the 1500 Olympic final in Rio was slower than that. So, I'd say by quite a margin.
So it's almost interesting to also here to what, we've obviously got eyes on Cedric, who's looking over his shoulder as Florian's coming up alongside. That's not a great sign for Cedric.
Only 500 in.
So we want to see some strong running for him over this next kilometre. What's he got?
So Henry has a gap of probably 15 to 20 metres on Kyle Cranston. You can see how tight the styles are getting at the end of two very long days of competition, even by the standards of these athletes. The gap between Dubler and Maloney is about 3 seconds at the moment. As we mentioned, that needs to be something in the order of 20 seconds, which for these athletes will be almost the length of a straight. For that to change the gold medal position. Florian's had a fantastic competition for New Caledonia.
And as we say that, Ash is just starting to lose a bit of touch with Cedric, and has the front four in this race come slightly more together. Jack Henry, who's out in front, is having the race of his life for a 1500 metre. He's a 4:51 athlete. He probably wouldn't have expected to be leading them at this point in the race.
It's about 6 seconds now between Dubler and Maloney. So they come up to
Dubler looking over his shoulder. Not sure if that's an encouragement, whether he's trying to pull his teammate along or whether he's thinking of his own position. Knowing a bit about Cedric, I suspect it's probably the former, and he's thinking about his young teammate.
So through the bell, and I don't think Cedric's going to be able to pull out a 20-second gap here unless something untoward happens. Kyle Cranston now is starting to close the gap on Jack Henry. He's gone around the shoulder of Jaffray. And remember, Jaffray needs to open a huge gap on Kyle to surpass him for that bronze medal on account of Kyle's great performance in the Javelin. So I'd wager that Cranston has the bronze medal in this competition sewn up at this stage. Jack Henry, though, in this 1500 is now getting some company, and wouldn't it be something if Florian could win this 1500? He had some great form in the pole vault.
Strong.
Florian up to the shoulder of Henry. Cranston sitting behind them. Florian goes for home. 120 to run after the world's longest decathlon. And Florian into the straight. Looks to have the best running of them. Cranston is working hard. He's going to get past Henry. He has a look over the shoulder. They're digging in, the boys. Florian Jaffray. Well done. 4:34 on the back of 2 very long days of competition, even by decathlon standards. Cranston will be second. Jack Henry, who did most of the early running, third. Now Dubler's going to come over the line in 4:47, and it will not be enough to dislodge your Oceania champion Ash Maloney, who comes over the line in 4:53, and that will be enough to hang on to his gold medal winning position.
So no qualifiers, sadly, for those two, but they take consolation with a gold and a silver in the Oceania Championship.
And it will help them in the world
rankings. This is
Cletus
Mosey, who comes over in about 5:15.
Fantastic. Great effort, and that'll be a good PB for Cletus.
I'd say he must be approaching 6,000 points. I can't remember what he was on before.
The boys have had a very long 2 days of competition. The pole vault, as quoted by Andrew Matthews, the longest he's seen at an athletics meet, which is saying something. Probably longest decathlon as well, mate.
So yeah, put it in context. First event was 1:20 this afternoon, and it's just hit 9:30 p.m. local time. So it's been a big day.
4:29 a.m. in Las Vegas. So, Chris, if you didn't hear us earlier, flick us your details, mate. We're going to get you something. We'll work out what it is. But thanks for your help during the day with Matt Marn in his role as a council member of Oceania here, sufficiently authorised to for the budget allocation for a postage parcel to Nevada.
Oh, I think we'll manage that. Thank you very much for your contribution, and hey, what a day we've had. So
thanks, boys. That's we sat here this morning and said, well, it's good, it won't be a long one, we won't have the same delay as the postponed pole vault yesterday. And we've ended up later.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got
2 to go.
Plenty of potential for delays tomorrow.
So we're only two and a half hours behind the projected schedule for today, but that's all right. So
and this is fantastic. So thank you, Andrew. Before we leave you, here are the quick results. Have been the quickest results of the day. The photo finish guys are keen to get out of here.
Somebody's got a beer in mind, no
Kyle
doubt.
Cranston, the winner. Oh, hang on. That's not Florian. Yeah, so this is on account of Florian, I think, having missed an event yesterday, who is not eligible in that 1500, so, or is an invitational athlete. So he's won the race in 4:34. That graphic is wrong in that sense. Gets 718 points for his trouble. But in terms of the Oceania Championship, Kyle Cranston will be the winner of the race in 4:35.48, just a few tenths in front of Jack Henry. Dubler third in 4:47. Ash Maloney 6 seconds behind. But that will be enough, as we'll see on the next graphic, to give Ash Maloney the Oceania Championship, an excruciating 97 points short of the World Championships qualifier. But plenty of time left to get that on the board, as well as for Tokyo 2020. Cedric Dubler, 8,031 points, but disappointed with his javelin in particular, I would say. That cost him in the race to catch Ash. Kyle Cranston surged late, particularly with the pole vault and the jav, and he's put himself into third position. And Florian will end the competition in 4th place, 7,550 ahead of Jack Henry of New Zealand and Cletus Mossy of Papua New Guinea.
Cletus Mossy, the winner of the 2015 Pacific Games, the Papua New Guinean who won there, did 6.288. So Cletus, very relatively new to the sport.
I'll hazard a guess here. I'm betting that's a championship record.
Yeah.
I haven't got the piece of paper in front of me, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that.
I have the piece of paper here.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Just while Bob's digging into the treasure trove, looking for that. What can you tell us, Bob? Can you shed some light?
I'm looking here at 193 records.
Okay, well, perhaps while Bob's just going at that...
Men's Decathlon under 20, Men's Decathlon Senior, 7309, Scott McLaren, New Zealand, 2010. So yes, it's
Scott.
marginally ahead.
So that's quite possibly the biggest smashing that we've seen of a championship record.
Yes. Scott would have been good for 5th today. With his championship record.
And with the greatest of respect, and a big shout out to Scott if he's tuned in.
But I mean, and I would hope that Scott and all of these record holders would be appreciative and supportive of the growing strength of this competition. 2 men over 8,000 points in the decathlon is a pretty ringing endorsement of the newfound importance of these championships, and that's been reflected today.
Absolutely.
Across a number of the highlighted events, in particular the hundreds and the high jump.
So it's been a great day. So just a bit of what's in store for tomorrow. So we kick off at the track here at 1:30 p.m. local time with the men's 200 metre heats. We'll have 5 heats to kick that off. We'll see the first of the steeplechase, which will be straight finals in most cases, in all cases, in fact. The men's and women's 3K. We'll get some finals of those 400 hurdles, and we spoke to a couple of the girls this morning, and which we've played through the program. Certainly one of the events of the day tomorrow has got to be the 800s and the finals there, particularly expecting some really hotly contested races. The women's 8, I think, will be one of the races of the championship. And then one of the things I think that we're very much looking forward to is seeing a bit of the heptathlon. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring much of that to you today with the camera setup that we had, but we'll see the second day of competition there. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of those, and then the day on the track closes out with the 4x1s, so the finals. So
they're almost as exciting as the 4x4s.
Absolutely. So that will be fantastic. The big boys are also out in the field tomorrow. We've got the men's shot put finals for the seniors, the women's triple, and the women's discus final as well. So
yes, I'm looking forward to the women's triple to see if Relly can cause another upset.
Absolutely. So
we heard from Nana this morning, and we'll see how she goes there. So, all right, long day. Thank you, gentlemen. Matt Mahon and Bob Snow have joined me since 1 o'clock this afternoon, so we'll give you all a rest from us, which I'm sure you'll be devastated about. A shout out as well to Andrew Matthews, who has done a great job getting us some of the field results, and Tim Gale-Ray, our producer, who has been pressing all the right buttons and has had to double for most of the day as a cameraman. So for those asking for the changed camera shots, he's been the one running around a fair few laps of the red track to bring them to you. We'll be back at about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for day 3 of the 2019 Oceania Athletics Championships. I've been Matt Whitbread with Matt Mahon and Bob Snow, the Oceania Athletics Association. We'll see you tomorrow.